always nice.
That's it.
Welcome to Dungeons and Debates.
Dungeons and
All these
debates.
goblins coming here and taking all our jobs. We're gonna build a wall around. We're gonna build a wall around Fransport, and they're gonna pay for it.
Jesus. Oh, I'm glad we can all agree that that's stupid. Ugh.
And yet he still got elected. Haha.
Yeah, I'm mad about that, but there's too many damn Republicans. Okay, that's the end of that.
I'm not saying it's
Seriously,
smart,
I
but there are
what I love
We
what
can
I
all agree that Trump is shit. I think that's
what-
the
I
one
did-
universal
seriously.
agreement.
couple things I love about this is that for one, this year's election wasn't even about who's the best president. It was who's gonna do the least harm. They were all shit.
Essentially, yeah.
It was kind of like picking between what's the least shitty.
And
Honestly,
the funny thing is that
My personal opinion, honestly, they didn't pick the least shitty. I'll be honest. If the economy gets a little shittier,
knows what
maybe.
she's fucking
What?
doing.
Honestly, I take the economy getting a little shittier if it didn't put as at risk of World War III 24/7.
I
Because, you know, one
wanted
day-
Sanders.
Seriously, I have a feeling like, yeah, man, an old man who smoked weed. Why not? I'm not fucking saying. I'm not being sarcastic either. I'm doing like an actual.
Yeah, that was basically him. He was pretty cool.
Yeah, unfortunately, like honestly, the election this year was fucking shit. Like there was fucking Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, it's been
there was a fucking racist. There was a fucking socialist whose real only appeal was, hey, look, I'm cool. That's kind of it. Like his.
It's basically.
It was kind of
it's
like picking
almost
this. It was like trying to. It was like his fucking your cool uncle or something. That's kind of the whole vibe you got from him.
It's basically.
And then
like
there was a guy who
America
looked like
is
he was
a mirror
asleep
and
24/7.
someone just smashed a baseball right in the center, and everyone is just in these niche groups, and it is just
Yeah.
getting chaotic.
Yeah, and then there was that, and then there was the guy who looked like he never quite got his coffee. Shitty. Ben Carr. What the fuck, man? He looked like he looked like he was gonna fall asleep like any moment on stage, every single time. It was like,
Oh yay!
it is ridiculous. So,
I'm gonna be honest. 90% of the American politics look dead inside.
I know, but he looked dead inside, and he also looked like he was gonna like if you pushed him over, he would just fall asleep.
Politicians usually end up looking like human jinkas of like saltine crackers or something.
Mm-hmm. So this year's elections were kind of shit. I'll be honest. No matter what you picked, it was gonna be shit. But seriously, what I was gonna say that I find interesting anyway is that at some point in the future, like there's gonna be fucking the next election and all that, or not even the next election, like probably midway through his term or something, or if he gets reelected or something, people are gonna be like, oh, he's one of the worst presidents to ever come in, or he was an idiot, or and like half of the people who voted for him are gonna join that bandwagon, and they're gonna be asking, oh, how did he get elected? I'm like, you dumbasses voted for him. That's how.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get to the game.
Yeah, no.
So how did we jump over to the other party's map?
Save us,
Yeah,
Dylan.
I
from
was,
those politics I accidentally unweaved into this chat.
Wow.
All right. I was really
I'm gonna
scared there
smile
for a
and be like,
second because the map wasn't showing any tokens, and I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
If that would happen, I would cry.
Oh, I would be so pissed.
Did someone
Armageddon has
screenshot
arrived.
it?
The
Does anyone
world
have
is
like
gone.
Giazzo or something?
Giazzo? As in the dumplings?
I mean, you could just print screen if somebody really wanted to. On a Windows computer, they could just print screen.
Yeah. Giazzo is basically a better print screen. It lets you print screen only a small amount of your screen.
Also
It's
known
pretty
as
cool.
snip tool.
Yep.
All those stuff.
Yeah, the map's not loading for me.
I'm on
It
the
is for
map.
me.
Not loaded for me.
Yeah.
I think so. I think our
Let me
browser.
try refresh.
It could,
It's
it
loaded
could
for
be
me.
roll 20 because I had to refresh like 3 or 4 times. I was like, I'm not giving up on this. It has to work.
Roll 20 is being slow today. You're just being slow lately in general, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think there's been a big influx of players.
They had something going on with their servers not long ago. Maybe this is like a consequence of that or something.
Yeah, and also like I said, I feel like the community is more active than it was before.
I mean, D&D is becoming more popular by the day, but
Yeah.
kind of like a resurgence, I suppose.
I
And
don't
we
know,
have
something
to thank
feels-
that really stupid show for it, and I'm not happy about it.
Whoa,
What?
cool your tits.
Big Bang Theory.
Wait, I don't think that works with girls. Cool your tits.
I hate that show so much.
Big Bang Theory?
Oh god, I hate that show so much.
I used to like it,
don't
but
know
it's
what
just
that is.
really boring and
I-
repetitive.
I legitimately, I don't get. I don't even.
I
like
laugh
that reference.
sometimes at the jokes, but
You-
more often than not, it's just cringy.
I was actually completely confused for a moment because I didn't realize you were talking about Big Bang Theory. I was like, the only thing I've heard recently that was making a lot of D&D references was Stranger Things.
Really?
I haven't even
So
seen
we're
that.
really gonna say Stranger Things and Big Bang Theory, and everybody's gonna skip over Critical Role. We're gonna skip
Critical
over.
Role is.
We're gonna skip
I'll
over
be
what's
honest,
really
I-
caused the
Critical Role
influx
is
of
literally
I mean,
D&D,
right now.
so...
Yeah.
It's
but-
Yeah,
literally-
I
Yeah,
actually
but-
started
but
thanks to
the-
the Adventure Zone.
The thing with Critical Role though is that to watch it, you need to already know about D&D. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's
No,
spreading
you
it, but you kind of
absolutely
need to
do
already
not.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
couldn't
but
get into
I
yeah,
Critical
but
Role.
nothing about
90% of people watching it already know about D&D. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like you
I
can't really
learned
credit
that-
it spreading it too much.
I
I
just
learned
happened to
D&D
be on
from
Twitch while I
watching
was
the
at
show.
work.
Yeah, and she said that show. I was like, I don't think I'd count Critical Role as a show. It's
It's a show, but it's not. It's not. It's not like a
Sponsors,
typical
commercials, actors. I'm gonna call it a show.
All these jocks
It
come in here taking
it
our
is-
nerds.
It is literally titled Critical Role RPG Show.
It's a show.
I was
Semantics.
I don't think the map's going to load for me, so can someone just print screen the map and just put it in the chat?
I mean, it's just the world map. We don't really need to know too much because we're not going to be moving tokens on it.
Theater of the mind, Martha.
Oh, Martha, you're missing something amazing.
Theater
Dylan just made
of
like an
the
amazing
soul.
change in the middle of the map. There's like this crazy crater and like some crazy new shit in there. Like you're missing a lot, Martha.
Stop
Yeah.
it.
Fuck you.
I mean, now that I'm looking at
Yeah,
that,
somebody.
is that like 3
somebody
terrace
actually,
down the bottom left corner?
Yeah, somebody actually nuked Nordvinden yesterday.
I only
I
take
hate
partial.
all
I
of
only
you.
take partial responsibility.
Oh, you credit yourself too much.
Shut up. I don't credit myself enough.
It's past 7.
Uh-huh.
We have to start.
Alright, guys. Simmer down. Alright. So, on the last episode of Dungeons and Dreidels, we had
Boots and nukes through.
a little role-playing session at the Silver Dwarf as the cold, lifeless body of Leah was brought into the Silver Dwarf and laid on a table. Martha tried to restore her, but was unfortunately unsuccessful. And after a little bit of an exchange and again continuing packing for the trip, everybody kind of went their separate ways. Over at the Barking Soul, Throm as well as Zlatota stayed behind to take a rest for the night and were ambushed by Tuck himself as well as his men. After a little battle, Throm was subdued and taken away. Zlatota was left there, and our new character, Fenrir, kind of was in the background and was able to take Zlatota and, with the help of the innkeep, kind of nurse him back and make sure he was stabilized. Fenrir then went to explore the city and figure out kind of, what's going on, try to enlist the help of some guards, but wasn't really given too much information. Once Zlatota woke up, there was a bit of a ranger team up there at the end, and there was a pretty epic exchange between Throm and Tuck, as they had very macho man mode duel going on.
Testosterone.
And I believe we ended with I can't remember if we ended with you guys. Oh, yeah. We ended with Throm kind of falling asleep in his cot that he was given, as well as Martha and Vernant and Conrad all kind of drinking the night away. I believe that's kind of like the overview of what happened. If I missed anything, then too bad.
Nope, just that way.
All right.
Oh, I'm supposed to lead when I wake up the Tuck to Gervais, who I've told him about, who I gave the princess to.
Correct.
Yes. I decided to give him the information instead of die.
So, where we're gonna start off here. So, Martha and Conrad, you guys have just had a lot to drink. You celebrated, essentially getting out of Hondel, and here's to new beginnings. As again, you just partied the night away. Upon going up to your room, I suppose we'll leave it there. You guys go up to your room, and Vernant, I believe you said you were like drinking in the corner or something. You were drinking wine, I believe, or something fancier. I don't remember.
I don't remember a damn thing about last session, so.
You probably chose one of the most expensive alcohols, like mead or something.
Yeah, so you're doing whatever it is you're doing, drinking, I assume, afterwards, going up to your room. And, so, Martha, Conrad kind of leads you up and poof, plops down on the bed. Well, we're here. What a night.
Yeah, we are. In one piece, thank goodness. Oof. Sorry, I'm still a bit. A lot has happened within the past day, hasn't it? Not exactly for the best either.
He kind of lays like on his back. He's just staring up at the ceiling. I agree. It's been a rough couple of days.
She's going ahead into bed and tuck herself in and tuck him in. Almost like a little baby. Just don't move. Stop moving. Let me get the blanket over you.
He's kind of like laying like sideways on the bed, but once you kind of like get into bed, he's like, okay. He goes around the side and jumps in and whatever. Snuggles up a little bit.
So,
After-
What the?
After a few seconds, he just turns to you.
Yes.
Is that personal?
Um, about what we talked about earlier. Do you remember?
Well, yes. Yes, I do.
She goes to the chat.
Yeah, as she goes to the chat. Um, he kind of looks at you seriously for a second. I know I said I got a lot of living to do, but it would be really nice if it was with you. And he pulls out like a really, really old looking golden band. It has like just a large sapphire in the middle of it, and it's kind of like encrusted with tiny ones.
And let me roll a con save for her nerves. And let's see. Yeah, she holds it in. She looks like she's crying a little bit, but when isn't she? She's just like nodding. Like, yes. She's going to wrap him into a huge hug.
He unravels your hand. He puts it in there and kind of like closes it and like holds your hand for a second. Martha, this is a promise. I have to finish my business first to make sure that we can really move forward, but once everything's all said and done, it'd be nice to just, have some time, you and me.
I just hope what little time I have left it will be enough for you. She puts the ring on and sort of sits up in the bed a bit. Whew, now I'm a little dizzy.
Well, why don't you lay down a bit? And he kind of like pushes you back down a little bit and just holds you for a little while.
You are too kind to me, Conrad. All right. I'm sure we'll get through this. It's just a bit of an anti-vacation. Is that a good way to say it? I mean, we're going somewhere, but not because we want to.
Well, at least we're going somewhere, right?
Who knows? Maybe once Latota comes over, and maybe if I can grab some of my old party members from here, we can go find something to do. Like, have you ever gone adventuring? It's quite fun, if a bit dangerous.
Sounds a bit dangerous. Can't say I have been, though. Well,
Oh, we wouldn't do anything that big. Probably just like, I wonder if there are any goblins around or anything.
You're racist against goblins, are you?
Hey. He sort of just gently thumps him on the nose.
He kind of just he grabs his nose. It's like, oh!
I'm just saying, if there's problems around the town, I'm sure we could help. I must admit, I do like my gold. Although, I'd be lying if I said staying here doesn't make me a bit worried. I doubt you learned of what happened here.
He shakes his head. It'll be all right. And he just kind of pats your hand or whatever. He just lets out a big.
She's going to look at her ring and she's going to sit there for a second. She looks really deep in thought, like, there's something I gotta tell you.
He half groggily, kind of like, Well, what is it?
Well, now I'm scared to say.
Say your truth, baby girl.
Conrad, I died.
He looks a bit kind of confused.
Twice. And with that, let's cut to the others.
He just like slowly nods. Whatever do you mean?
Oh shit. I didn't want to have to explain it. I When I was defending this town, I passed away. Somehow they brought me back. And I was rejuvenated. I was feeling better than I ever have before, but I don't know how to explain it. It's just weird. For the time before I'd been revived, I thought my life would be infinite, but it's scary to think I'm back to being normal again. I have a feeling that only made you more confused.
He responds with just a very warm smile, and he kind of like rubs your arm a little bit. Well, that confirms it. You're a miracle. But I guess I already knew that. What you've done before, it doesn't matter. As long as you're here now.
She sort of nods and hugs him and snuggles into the bed. Thank you.
So as you guys kind of like snuggle a little bit, you begin to like, feel sleep come upon you, to wash over you. You wake up, maybe like a few minutes later, and you can see Conrad. He's just over you, and he's just like looking at you.
Martha's not going to say anything for now.
Yeah, he's just kind of
She
like,
did tell.
without being too detailed about it, he's just kind of like straddling you, and his fingers kind of like run up, kind of like past your chest, both of his hands.
She's just going to squint at him. Honey, I know you're excited tonight, but I've been through a big ordeal. Can we just... not tonight?
His hands continue to go up towards your
Oh,
throat,
gee.
and he begins to squeeze tighter.
Yes.
And tighter and tighter. You can see as his face begins to crumple in almost a scowl.
I knew it. I knew this fucking cows.
Okay, now she is very confused and a bit worried. She's going to try and get up.
A bit worried.
As you try to get up, he slams you back down. Hold on, let me change the music here. And he begins to squeeze tighter and tighter and tighter as he bears down on your windpipe. You can feel the blood rushing to your head as boom, 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 boom. It seems like your brain is just rattling around in your skull. Your thoughts begin to go hazy, and a just sinister smile, almost unnaturally wide, begins to cover his face as you see his maw begin to open up in just this hideous grin.
Oh, shit. Okay, can she make like a strength saving throw to try and get ungrappled?
As you begin to fight it, you try to slap him off. He just stands there over you, looming rigid, resolute, squeezing and bearing down on you harder and harder as this grin begins to widen and widen, just more and more unnaturally. And as he creeps into he begins to open his mouth with this wide grin, you see a set of peering white eyes from the inside of his mouth, looking directly at you.
What the fuck?
You can feel as the pressure behind your eyelids begins to push outwards harder and harder. And then you wake up in a cold sweat.
Aw.
Martha's going to go get a drink of water. Something tells me she's not going to fall asleep again for the rest of the night.
As you get up, you notice there is a twinge, a pain, something at your neck. You look over and see the spot where Conrad was is empty. The bed. You're not sure what time of night it is, but it's definitely in the middle of the night.
She's... Well, right now she's reeling because, holy shit, that was terrifying. She's going down to get water anyway. She probably figured maybe Conrad was going to the restroom or something. She's like trying to steady herself and think like, no, nothing weird's happening. This is just a bad dream. Everything's fine. So she's going to head down and maybe look for him.
Okay. So you go downstairs to the common room. Again, your head is pounding. It's almost like your tongue is made of cotton. It's just your throat is dry and it aches. And as you make your way down through this common area, there's no signs of anyone there. You
Okay,
hear a
maybe-
couple of like glasses twanging from what you believe to be the back of the kitchen area.
Well, she hates to go peeping in kitchens, but now she's really worried, so she's going to head that way.
Go ahead and make a stealth check.
Alrighty. Just plain old, no advantage or disadvantage?
Correct. So as you creep across, you get to the doorway, where beyond you can hear the clatter. You can see just the light, the shimmer of a small candle. As it shimmers, you see some sort of silhouette. You can't really tell from here, from this angle, as you try to go in just a little bit closer. As you creak down on a step, the silhouette whips towards you and takes 2 steps forward. Martha! Is that you?
Yes. I was worried you weren't in bed.
I was just getting a glass of water, I was.
Funny, me too. Bad dream?
Like you wouldn't believe.
Well, that's weird. That's...
He reaches out a half-full glass of water. I hope you don't mind. I took a little bit for myself, but here you are.
She'll just take it somewhat cautiously and nod and take a small sip. It was so strange. You were in it, and you were doing things that I know you would never do. Funny how dreams do that sometimes, huh?
Ha! He kind of like gives you a little rub on the shoulder, and I wouldn't say never. Oh, what was it? I'm always up for a little adventure, if you will.
I think this is one adventure I don't want us going on.
Well, suit yourself.
She sort of ruffles his hair before heading back up. Also, remind me to give you bed and breakfast in the morning. You worked so hard yesterday. Or I guess, was it? Yeah, yesterday. I'm guessing it's past midnight.
Yeah, I don't know what time it is, but okay. He kind of like, as you guys walk up to your room, he gives you a little peck and then gets back on his side and kind of snuggles in, pulling the covers tight.
Martha's gonna stay up for a little bit, sort of. She's trying to think. She and me are trying to think. Could be the lady in the woods. Probably is.
And with that, hold on. So you have like one more question?
Would Martha be able to make an Arcana check to tell if the dream was any sort of fey-like in any way, or if it was just a bad dream?
I don't really think you'd be able to like discern that. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
I mean, it
Go ahead.
certainly felt real, but again, that's for different people. Some people have very realistic dreams. Some people don't. So. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and pan over. So, the ranger duo, as you make your way through the night streets, the guards with you. Hold on here. Suppose this works for now. So, as you make your way through the city streets, the guards coming behind, or going forward because they're leading you. You're going behind them. That's right. You see, most of the foot traffic at this point is very light, if not completely dead. And as you're brought, Fenrir, you realize you're not being brought to the guards outpost. You're being brought maybe closer to like the docks side of town, and after, because it's a fairly large city, so it takes a good half an hour, 45 minutes to trek it by foot. But slowly but surely you see this the nice walled-in keep begin to draw closer and closer to you.
Okay.
As they lead you up to the gates, the guards look over and give you kind of like a 1 minute kind of hold up a finger. One of them goes over and talks to some of the guards that are at the gate, and after a few moments, a couple more guards come out to escort you, and the gates are opened. Well, here we are, boys.
Where? You got to remember, I came into town yesterday and don't usually come to this section. Where are we?
Well, we're at the Bostel residence. Clan Bostel? No? He kind of like looks at you expectantly.
I'm a dude from the swamps who never, like, I stick with the caravan. The farthest I usually go is the trade market.
Fair enough. So as he leads you in, you're primarily led now by these other guards. They're very well armored. They have like a standard issue kind of. They're clearly more like knights. Um, so as you're brought through this like just very lavish courtyard, you're brought up to the like just this large like mahogany set of double doors. Um, again, there's another like 2 guards on each side. Uh, Hand signals are exchanged between the guards, and then you are let in.
And how is the clan's name spelled?
Bohstel.
Bohstel. All right.
So, so one of the guards turns to you both and, why don't you have a seat over here? Points to you, and then over to like it's just like a stone bench that's maybe like 5 or 10 feet away from the doorway.
All right. Are we? All right. Well, I guess we're waiting for someone. So I'll just go sit over.
All right. So, you see these guards. They go and they go to fetch somebody. You're not quite sure, but after a few moments, you see just like this very like regal-looking gentleman. Again, he's not like in super decked-out attire, but you can tell by the way he holds himself. He's just very proper. Has kind of just like a long silk robe on, and just ordained with you probably can't see the colors too well because it's not super well lit in here, but you can see like a little bit of purple, a little bit of gold, a little bit of black from the glimmers that you do get. He makes his way down the stairs, accompanied by a few of these guards, and comes to you. He kind of nods his head and... Good evening. I hear you have word of Our Lady. This princess, if you will.
Yeah, like I told the guards. The only real news I have is that the guy I know, Throm, I'm sure someone's seen him. I mean, he's a 7'3" white dragonborn, hard to miss. Knows where the princess is, and he's just been taken off by, I'm guessing, Tuck's guys. So, our only clue to where she is currently with Tux.
Mr. Fallowsmith. A tough one. He kind of strokes his like trim beard that he has and looks to you. Do you think the princess may be there as well?
With Tuck? I doubt it. I mean, they only took him, what, last night? I think? I got knocked out in the fight, so I'm still kind of adjusting on time. It's night to night, so... But, yeah, I mean, they only got him last night. He's a tough guy. I doubt he just gave away her position that immediately like that. But my bet, she's not with Tuck yet.
are you working for?
What do you mean, who am I working for?
Well, if you and your compatriot here know about this princess, you must be working with someone.
All right. I came in yesterday with my family, or with the clan convoy for trade. I'm just gonna explain a bunch of shit real fast, because this is how my trip's been this time. And I'm just gonna basically go down the line. Got here, ship blew up, ran into thugs. No clue why. There's thugs, but ran into them. They weren't happy seeing us for some reason. Apparently, the person I knew had a party here, and one of the people in that party started working with Dalton Rain, or whatever his name is. I think that was it, Dalton Rain. Never met the dude, but apparently they knew knew Throm, knew the princess, somehow knew Throm found the princess, so faked their own kidnapping, blamed it on Tuck to get Throm to take the princess to Tuck's turf so they could, I guess, kidnap her back and blame Tuck, so that it looks, if we decide to try and fight anyone, it was Tuck. Tuck kicked in the door to Throm's room last night, knocked him out, knocked me out. I don't know if he's dead. You know, it's been a real shitty 2 days. You guys should work on that.
Indeed.
I mean, the clan comes here like every month or two for trade. It's probably the worst trip I've had. Most interesting trip, but the worst.
Well, my condolences to you. And he kind of like paces for a second. Well, you say you have no allegiance.
Also, we did find Tuck's base. I think they've got really upset with Rom because he went in there and killed a couple people.
Kill a couple of Tuck's men. Must be fairly capable.
Well, I mean, the person he went in there to find, who was the person who set us up, also came out dead, so... And he was pretty beat up. I mean, I don't know how much fighting was there. The moment everyone started splitting up, it was like, yeah, it's the middle of the night, the person next to me can't see, it's time to back out. It's been a mess.
So, why is it that you come to me?
I didn't. I went to the guards to see if they had any way to, like, I don't know, raid Tuck's place. So, I mean, Throm did help us get the caravan here. I mean, we fought 2 owlbears and a troll halfway between Utsad and here.
Impressive.
So, I'd feel bad just going, okay, he was taken, I'll leave him for dead. I can't just storm a crime lord base. So I was going to see if you had some way to raid it, or, I don't know, get him out of there.
He ponders for a moment, and we certainly do have some forces here, that's for sure. And the rivalry has been quite taxing, to say the least. Well, you and your compatriots seem fairly capable. If you truly have no allegiance, then what better allegiance would there be than the sovereign of Volstand? And to that he kind of like gestures to you, like almost like a question. We certainly have units stationed here.
This is going to turn into a big political thing because I can tell you right now, I'm not a representative of my home. That's up to the council.
He kind of like waves his hand. Not to say the least. I'll fill you in. This princess, she is from Frosthall. I'm sure, as you know, there has been quite some tension between us and the North.
You mean like the cold North?
Yes,
The northern, farther than me north? I mean, we trade up there every once in a while. It's a tough trip, but yeah. I haven't really seen anything for problems.
well, as you kind of explain that, he seemingly disconnected from the situation. He looks at you and then, very well. Let me put it plainly. The princess was here for political marriage. How you, your compatriots, the Mr. Dalton Rain and Tuck Fallowsmith, however they found out, I know not, but it is imperative that we get her back. If things don't go well, it could end whatever chance we have at peaceful negotiations, if you will. So, to this, I will grant you some units, sure. You seem capable. I'll send in one of my lieutenants, and you will aid the scouting party and show them where his base is. Do you know any exits? Do you know any counts of their numbers, their defenses, anything like that?
I didn't go, like I said, I didn't go in. I know the building. I know there were, let's see, 2 we ran into on the way there. 2 the others ran into. 3 archers in the darkness. A number of rooftop guards. Probably some rooftop guards on the base. I didn't sit everyone down and ask them how many people they killed inside the base. But it'd be weird if the outside was more heavily guarded than the inside, considering everyone in it probably knows how to fight. So there are a lot of people in there.
He nods. Very well. I will gather some of my personal units, as well as what we have stationed in the guard post. And to that, he holds his hand out to you, very kind of like I'm trying to say it without being like derogatory or anything, but kind of like we'll say T-Rexy. So like the wrist is down. You can see just like a huge signet ring, and he just nonchalantly kind of holds it out to you.
It's that royal handshake of the, all right, here's my hand, kiss the rings.
Yes.
I'm gonna take his hand and turn it and shake it normally.
He seems kind of appalled.
No, I'm not
Do you
sure.
know-
Fenrir kind of like does a little snicker like in the background, like a.
I'm not sure how you got through to the point of marriage negotiations when you shake hands limply like that.
He begins
You know
to get a
what I
little
say,
red in the face.
You know what they say about a man's handshake?
Somehow I think we need private lessons on how
Swamp boy, ruin all your politics. This is the problem with coming from a society who doesn't have a class.
You refuse to kiss the ring, lizard. And he kind of
I
like
need to give you a
eyes
basic
you.
idea on how to.
Why would I kiss a ring? It's
To swear your
It's true.
fealty, of course, to the House of Bostel.
gonna let go of his hands. All right, we're back to the whole politics thing I asked at the beginning. What is this fealty thing you're going for? We don't do class stuff like this where I come from. So you're gonna need to run through the basics here.
He sighs, and he withdraws his hand. Never you mind. It is fine this time.
Now, again, I'm gonna need you to run through the basics because I'm not going with like a empty acceptance or you deciding I accepted because I didn't know. What is this fealty thing?
It is customary to kneel and kiss the ring of the Lord. In this case, in this domain, it would be I. Should we come to an accord, an agreement, if you will, which I believe we have, it is generally customary in an act of good faith to do this ritual.
Yeah, that's weird. Where I come from, when we set up agreements and stuff, we get a piece of paper and we set up a contract. Is that what fealty is? Is it just a fancy contract? You put your name, I put my name. If either of us doesn't do what we said, contract over.
Yes, in a sense. And at that, he looks at you kind of like, his expression eases as he can see that, like, clearly, like, just culturally, you guys are different. And, what seemed to be at first, like, anger, or kind of almost him being, like, surprised or like, flabbergasted, appalled, has turned more into a warmth and understanding. We have an agreement, Lizard. I will gather my men. You will stay here. And he kind of, with that, he gestures over to the side. There's a room. You can stay there and prepare yourself while I prepare my troops.
So, making sure we got the agreement. You're getting the troops so I can raid this place. I'm guiding you to it. There's no hidden strings, no politics I'm gonna have to carry you home.
Correct.
All right. That I can accept.
Very well. And with that, he kind of like, with a swoosh of his silk robe, he turns around and like begins to walk off.
What a camp twat.
So
I swear his farts sparkle.
I'm not sure I trust anything you say about other people. Your father seduced a wolf.
Aye, I've told you already. This one needs to be human. They should turn into a wolf later. My father's no wolf twatter.
Why did your character turn Irish?
Suck a cock. It's the character, deal with it. It fits his personality.
Yeah, I'll be
Ireland's a bunch of happy-go-lucky fuckers.
I'll be going into that side room.
Yeah, it's very just well adorned in here. There's just like everything is just beautifully gilded with golden inlay, and there's just like tapestries hanging down. There's not a lot of like furniture in here per se, except for like there's kind of like a love seat in here. But besides that, it's mostly open. It's just kind of like essentially like a waiting room, and you go in. A couple of guards stand in the doorway to keep watch over you. As you're free to just kind of, take a load off, prepare yourself, whatever it is that you wish.
Yeah, I'd just be checking my gear.
All right.
So,
Short.
are we sharing a room?
Yeah, it's
Right.
not like a bedroom. It's like a large waiting area room, pretty much.
Hey, I guess we're going to be fighting together, are we?
I guess. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people there.
Well, haven't we've never really done a proper introduction, have we? We've just kind of exchanged names. Let's get. I have a feeling we got off the wrong foot there at the bar. Let's just do this properly.
I don't think
My
I
name-
met you at the bar.
I know it's a tavern, but I'm just gonna just for character.
I don't think I met you at the tavern either.
No, it would be. It would be. Like you were leaving the tavern, like as the guards were telling you, and I was
We were
chasing you there.
already walking away from the tavern. You're walking
Yeah,
back after
in
from
front,
the.
in front of it. Honestly, you'd still say we met at the tavern, like in common English language. You'd still say something like that. You'd still say we met at the bar. If you're just like 10 feet in front of the bar, you'd still say that. You wouldn't really say, "Oh, I met you in
also-
some random street," or "I met you by the lamppost."
I also wouldn't say we were in front of the bar because you were entertaining people in the trading market. And then
Tavern.
Yeah, he was in the tavern room. He was doing like stuff in there. You were talking like right outside of the door, essentially with these guards, and he kind of like finished what he was doing and ran off after you guys.
I guess I'm remembering it wrong because I remember you saying he was on the way back. He stopped as we were leaving because I was already with the guards going.
I was already in the tavern while you were doing that. While you were saying all that, like I was kind of waiting for Dylan to say like, what are you doing? Because I kind of needed to say that I was at the tavern that whole time, and that I noticed you leaving, and that's why I chased after you, because I kind of, wanted to introduce you and all that, because I did take care of you for like a night. In character, he would want to say, to talk to you or try to find out what happened. So that's why I chased after you as soon as I saw you leaving.
All right.
All right, now that we got the facts out of the way,
Yeah. So
so yeah,
continue.
name's Fenrir Ulfun. This here Cybele. Nice to meet you, Mister.
This is Latota.
Slatoita, is it? Gotta say, I haven't heard that name before.
Yeah, don't know how many lizard folk you run into.
Fair point. So, who was the unlucky one getting carried off by Tuck's men?
Like I told the other guy, that was Throm. 7'3", white dragonborn. Hard to miss.
Hey, tall fucker. He's a friend of yours, I take.
Met him. What, yesterday? Day before yesterday.
Yeah. Gotta say, you don't run into many people willing to risk their lives for someone they've just met a day or two ago. I respect that. I respect your conviction. And I sort of stretch out my hand like in a handshake fashion.
I'll shake it, but I'm not sure. I'd say I'm risking my life. It's starting to look ugly. I'm pulling everyone back. No point getting everyone killed in something that's not going to work.
Smart one. Well, guess we'll just get back to our business here. You look like it. You look like you're good with a bow. I prefer a little more. My fighting style's a little more intimate, if I say so myself. And I sort of, take out one of the short sword and do like a little spin of it and fasten it in my belt again. Best of luck to you tomorrow. I'll be trusting you to cover my ass.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long we're waiting. I don't know if it'd be
I mean,
a
you
full
kind of said
tomorrow.
you kind of said you wanted to do like a morning thing, or at least.
Well, I haven't told him that.
Fair enough.
He just told me to wait. He's gonna go grab his men.
Well, I mean, it is evening, so technically, even like 2 or 3 hours, will still technically be tomorrow. As soon as that hits 1 a.m. Right. This feels like exactly what happened between Zlatota and Fenrir. Zlatota's like this more careful, planned guy, whereas Fenrir is more the happy-go-lucky social fucker. And he's trying to like open up and be friends with Zlatota, and Zlatota's just like, "Who the fuck are you? Get the fuck away!" Oh my god.
All right, and so with that, we'll kind of pan out with you guys in the waiting room. We pan back in to Throm, just snoring loudly in his bed. The couple of guards that are there to watch him are just, nodding off at their post. And just making sure you're here. You're here, right, Throm?
Yep.
Okay.
Mm.
So Throm,
Mhm.
you begin to have visions while you're dreaming, just flashes from the past, and you see like an image of essentially like your silhouette, just holding a giant sword, and there's like some some flames. It's just very ominous. And you get just glimpses, flashbacks, and then it fades out to black. It fades back in to a colossal, almost incomprehensible in size, just the face of a dragon, a very familiar dragon to you. Hello, Throm. You recognize this voice to be your once patron, your once god.
I thought I left you in the wastes.
You will never leave me. You are my son, Throm. You will always be my child. And with that, you see the it's almost like the entire sky is the face. The eyes kind of relax, open up a bit, almost as if the eyes are smirking.
I kind of reach a little under my arm and grab the totem under that's kind of hanging on my neck of the six-headed dragon I usually carry. What do you want? Why do you bring me here?
It is not I that brings you here, Throm. It is you, yourself.
I did not walk here. I was asleep.
that is what you believe. And with that, it's almost as if you're being like kind of plucked from the ground, like an insect by its wings. You're drawn up, up, up into the sky.
Let go of me.
As you begin to, you try to like fight back. Again, it's almost like you're gripped by force. It's not like there's actual physical fingers or anything like that. Lifts you up thousands of feet next to the iris of this massive eyeball. Remember, Throm, you are my child. And it fades back into blackness.
You know what happened to my last parents, yes? Do not think you're exempt. I'll just say that as it fades.
No response. So we're gonna fast forward a little bit here. So the guards they swarm in. One that is like seems to be like more adorned than the rest. He has like marks of kind of some sort of military prestige. His armor's a bit better. His weaponry's a bit better. He comes up to you. Zlatota. You're the ones?
Yeah. Just kind of look. Think so. Unless he was expecting us to. Point to the guards that have been standing by the doors to guide you.
A smartass. Great. Let's go.
If you asked obvious questions, you can expect an obvious answer.
Sorry, I heard smartass. Did somebody call my name?
Now I was filling in for you.
Hey!
Okay.
So what did I miss here?
He begins to kind of like walk off, but in a pace like he actually kind of like from behind his shoulder kind of gives you a hand signal, like come hither.
Okay, so what did...
Basically, they just walked in.
Okay.
For us, they just walked in, asked if we were the people.
Okay, and the guards, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And he's just basically gesturing me to come over like his hand.
Yeah, he's gesturing for us to follow.
So as a couple of his kind of like personal guard follow him out, you follow in line with them out to the courtyard where you see there is, quick estimate, possibly 100 men or so, more or less, in the courtyard. He kind of stops at the beginning of the staircase as his personal guard kind of flank out, and he turns to you. I was told you have information of Tuck's whereabouts, the hideout, possibly weaknesses. What do you know?
Well, as I told him, I know the building. I know they have a couple of guards and rooftop guards. I don't know ins and outs and weaknesses. I didn't go inside. The people who did go inside were making a lot of noise, and one's been captured by Tuck, and the other have left town. Because they pissed off Tuck.
The captured one, that's your friend, yes? The white one?
A lot of assumptions, but yeah. I know him, and he knows where the princess is.
Very well. I will assign you to the ranged unit. He looks you over. You seem like the type. And what of your other friend here?
I don't know. He's the son of the wolf seducer.
Aye.
A precarious title, but I suppose
Watch
a title
yourself.
nonetheless.
Watch yourself. Stick me up in the front. I prefer getting up close and personal to stabbing.
Better you than my men. kind of nods.
Aye, might be, but probably won't be the case.
So he points you guys in the directions of where you're supposed to be, and then you've been directed to kind of lead the front, Zlatota, because obviously, like you know, so the ranged unit is kind of going in the front, being more kind of like scouts, trackers, and leading everybody else through.
Oh yeah.
So-
Also to the men that are like directly around me, I'm just gonna kind of say, don't try to pet her and don't step on her tail. She won't appreciate you for that. Any sort of gestures to Cybele.
Yeah, a lot of the men are kind of wary about, you know, they give you like a few feet of space. Obviously, they're gonna follow orders, but at the same time, like, you know, the just random wolf kind of makes them uneasy. So,
Mm-hmm.
all right,
As
so just real quick, so Eldrin, just so you know, because you missed a little bit. So you had like a bunch of kick-assery, and then
I know the quickassery, yes.
yeah, and then Leah passed away, unfortunately, and given that you were traveling with Martha and Leah, I said that you had gone with Martha to go to Utsad. So I'm not sure if there's something specific you would like to do in Utsad. It's kind of like nighttime now, but just so I know, because I know that because you weren't here, I just making sure that piece is plugged in somewhere.
I mean, mostly it would start a at night before going back to meditate. Just walk around town. No
Okay.
reason. Just walk around town. Peaceful
Okay.
stroll.
So a decent stroll. It's a beautiful night. It's clear. Obviously, there's nighttime. There's not a whole lot of foot traffic. It's a small town, so all is fairly quiet, and a little more of a peaceful scene than you last remember in Utsad.
The last time we were here, it was burning down.
A little more peacefully, just slightly.
Okay, so I just figured I'd let you
And
know,
my parents found out.
just so you know where your piece of it was.
Yeah.
So, okay, so let me get some good music on here.
And just to make sure, you said it was night. Are we traveling in the dark?
Yes, but this
Okay,
time,
'cause-
there's a whole myriad of people in these units. Actually, a lot of the people in this unit specifically are either half elf, or many of them have dark vision, but not all of them.
well, that's what I was trying to make sure, because I need to make sure to burn my 8-hour spell slot first for traveling in the dark.
Yeah. So
I don't feel like having any blind adventures.
yeah, so at this point, I think with all the waiting and everything, it's probably about 10, 11 o'clock at night. So, hold on here. I'm trying to get my music here. This one sounds cool. Clash of Kings. We'll see if it's any good.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. I've used it.
All right, so as you make your way through the alleyways, there doesn't seem to be a lot in the way of patrols. Is there anything you're looking to do specifically besides just we're going there? Because you're kind of the spearhead. You have the information. You're leading them there. You're giving them the cues and things like that.
I do want to keep an eye out for any like weirds. I'm watching windowsills, watching just around corners. I don't want to be the first one to find some crossbowmen.
Okay. So you're sure to look around. You're sure to point them out. Besides that, in terms of like positioning or any sort of strategics, in this case, you kind of had you have the intel. So suppose I'm just looking to see what you have relayed to them.
I'll point out where I've seen some of the rooftop guards. If I don't see the rooftop guards up there, I'm gonna instruct some of the, if they have them like longbowmen or anyone with longer range weapons, to take up those spots, take up rooftop spots so they can keep an eye out multiple streets for us.
Okay.
Basically, high ground, the actual ground, larger range of vision. If we're going to hit this place, I want to make sure we have as many visible spots as possible. Like, I don't want any blind spots.
Okay, so as you direct them, the members of the range units begin to fan out, take higher ground. You can see from where you are the very same ranged unit that was at the top of the main building. You never really went into the complex, so you don't really understand the layout. But what you saw was, the taller apartment-looking building with the watchman on it. That one is still there. And just throughout, you've seen there's a couple other specks of torchlight. So you can assume that they're in somewhat of the same formation that they were in, from what you recall last time.
Right. I will set up people if there's rooftop archers and stuff. I do want to set up kind of like a counter archer. Get someone who can see him, shoot him, maybe 2 for each of the rooftop archers, since we have 100 men go. I don't know how many are ranged units, but I want to make sure if we can see a guard outside who might be able to send an alarm first before we hit the place, I want them down fast if we decide to strike.
Okay. Very good. Yeah, Splinter Cell mode. But there's also
don't mess with me.
Yeah, so you guys are a little ways in front of the rest of the units. They're kind of waiting you're okay. So as you get your people into position, it's kind of up to you. Again, you don't really know the layout of the complex because you haven't been in it. And you haven't had the aerial view that like Throm and Eldrin had.
Is there still one of the guys? Is there anyone I haven't assigned to a spot yet?
Yeah, we can say that you still have another 1 or 2. It depends how many you wanted to have fanned out.
Yeah, I mean, one person I'm gonna send them back. Okay, the large apartment building. There's a archer on top. There might be more archers on top. I didn't get a good view in the middle of the night bench when everyone was running around, but I've gotten us to the point I know for sure. Once you get inside, I've got nothing for you. If I had to guess, it's probably following the same kind of patterns as the apartments around here, which you know. But watch corners, watch windows. I don't know if they've adjusted their guard. And I'll just send one of those scouts back to the main army, let them know.
Okay. So, it takes a few minutes. He goes there and then he comes back, and then he whispers in your ear, "Ready to move."
All right.
So as you guys get into position, you begin to lay low. You get ready. Well, I mean, you're already laying low, but you're ready to strike. You hear coming from around you. As that body that was in that corner falls down. A couple of the men begin to as it's cut short. And you just hear the just cacophony of armor plating, just shunk, 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 as the units just begin to march forward and swarm this place. So Throm, you are awoken by just screams and mayhem as you just hear hundreds of footsteps just piling down the halls. And
oh yeah, I realized. Did Zlatura ever tell the guards what Throm looked like specifically?
Yeah, I spread the news because I told the Lord, and they knew of Throm because the Lord told him, and I also told him. The person I know is.
Okay, good.
Cool.
I've made sure there were plenty of people around,
They
even
just
when I
walked
told you.
in-
Yeah,
they just
even when I
walked in
told
and
you.
40 people shoot Throm in the throat with crossbows.
Yeah. Yeah, because I made sure there were other people around, even when I told you. Yeah, he's a 7'3" white dragonborn. It's hard to miss him.
This is true. So I guess as I hear the shouts, I'll kind of sit up. What was that? I'll go to the door. The door's open, right? It's not locked.
yeah, you
I just guard on that.
purposefully left the door open and snored
Right.
loudly. So
What's
you
going
go.
on? I'll ask the guards outside the door.
The guards are not there. You can see
yeah.
as you look left. That's like the room you were in before. There's like nobody coming from that direction. It's kind of a dead end. You look right, and you can just see a mass of like people just like running forward down the hall, with more of them kind of like coming down the stairs.
Oh shit. Tuck gave me back my weapons, right? I believe.
Unfortunately, he did not.
What? Donnie gave me back my weapons.
You-
Shit.
You can look around for them. He didn't give them. It's just you guys fought, and then he was like, "Yeah, give this guy a room."
I don't feel like looking for him. I guess I'll look for him. I'm gonna look
Yeah, because you.
for a couple of minutes. If I don't find him within a couple of minutes,
Okay, yeah,
I'll-
you totally don't have armor on either. Like they obviously took your armor off. They took your, you're pretty much down to like just common kind of clothes right now. So yeah,
where's my clothes?
you begin to look around. Is there anywhere specifically you're trying to look? I mean, I know you don't know this complex super well, but
A place that would look like they'd have my armor and weapons, I guess.
all right, go ahead and make an investigation check. So, Zlatoda, where are you in terms of the formation? You're kind of standing back, or you?
Yeah, I'm farther back. Like, I want to make sure I'm. If I had to say, I have the building about 100 feet away from me. Like, I'm going
Okay.
for the full 150 attack range. I don't want anyone shooting back at me.
That one would be. You'd have to be on a rooftop, and even then, I don't know if it would be a full 100 feet. Like maybe a diagonal if you were like across the complex. You know what I mean? Because the way
Yeah, I mean, just
it's almost like a
with-
rectangle, right? If you imagine there's like a
Yeah, I just
rectangle
meant
with a
like-
hole in the middle, and there's like a couple of side alleys that empty out into this complex. So, in order for you to have like a good view and be able to really stand back, you probably have to be on a rooftop around that perimeter.
Yeah, I'll be on a rooftop around the perimeter. I wanted to have the range so I can see what's going on, not be right in the thick of the fight. I see people in front of me, behind me, but not around me.
Right, yeah, melee range, yeah, there's nobody around you, but you are certainly surrounded by like more of the rangers that were like a part of your unit. Because they're doing the same thing. They're using that perimeter to their advantage.
Yeah, so I'm keeping an eye out, see if I first seeing if I see Throm in the fight or getting out of the building, because just the 2 days I've traveled with him, I doubt he's sitting around. But I'm also, if I see someone who looks like they're getting ready to try and bolt, I'll send a couple shots in. I'm
Okay.
not.
Okay, so you see as you're getting into position and there's just things are just going on now. You see just windows shattering like and as the infantry begins to pour into the complex, you see out of this apartment building just a fuckload of dudes just begin pouring out, and they're just like, oh, in a full charge. Some of them are like jumping out of the windows that are like chest level. They're just like busting them out and jumping through. So just people from both sides pouring in to the middle of the courtyard for this kind of this battle. A couple of the people on the other stories, because it's like a several story building, begin knocking out knocking out the windows and begin loading their heavy crossbows and firing back at the ones at the balcony. A couple of them having given notice and are just firing, like more down towards the crowd to take out people.
Yeah, I'm gonna call out to the archers that are with me. Take out the crossbowmen. Last thing we need is them volleying our guys.
So as you guys retaliate back and forth, as just back and forth, a couple of them go down. You see one person to your left takes one right in the throat and looks to you and then falls forward and all the way down, knocks into just a scuffling pair. One of Tuck's men, one of the infantry. And as this rages on, Throm, you can hear just like this chaos getting louder and louder and louder, and you're just frantically trying to dig away and find some equipment. At a first glance, you haven't found your equipment yet, but you can either spend a little longer to look for your equipment, or what you have found is you found just kind of some stuff that they have. You have just a crate. As you pop it open, has a bunch of like these stock kind of heavy crossbows, and to the side you see they just have like a couple of things. They have like a mace, a just standard issue kind of like a long sword, nothing fancy, but there is some sort of weaponry that's kicking around here that you could just pick up and go, or you could continue to try and look for your equipment. It's up to you. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you hear what I said to Throm?
Oh, no, sorry. I thought you were still talking to the Totem. I didn't hear you say Throne. Sorry. Can you repeat that?
So, you hear this sounds of battle just begin to grow and grow, and as you're frantically looking for your equipment, you fall short. You haven't been able to find your stuff, but what I've said is through investigating, you found other stuff. There's just some weapons that they have lying around, such as like a crate full of heavy crossbows, as well as there's some like maces and long swords and whatnot. So you could just take something from their stuff and just go, or you could.
Nah, I'm gonna keep looking for my sword.
Okay, so go ahead and make another investigation check. Actually, no, it's fine. You don't have to make an investigation check. So you.
See, I was just gonna stop somebody next. Yeah, where's my shit?
Yeah. So as you begin to go through, it still takes another few minutes, but as you're going through, you begin digging into the room that you were in initially, and you just begin ripping it apart. Eventually, you kind of like push like a bookshelf to the side, and there's just like a large chest that has a bunch of stuff and wrapped in just a large, almost like a tarp kind of cloth, is the blade that you recognize. As you take that and you kind of kick open the chest, you can see it has pretty much all of your stuff. There's a couple of extra items in there, but nothing that seems at a first glance to be of real like significant value or anything.
I'm just gonna take it off. My greatsword's there as well, right? I carry both of them.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, good. I like the switch. Sweet. I'm gonna take my weapons, don my armor, anything extra in there, clear the chest out, and this is for my troubles. And I'm gonna follow the direction of the nonsense from this noise. What kind of what kind of sleep did I get?
You got a short rest. Because this is still all happening in the same night. So, technically, so you got a long rest when you were knocked out, and then you had the fight with, Tuck, and then after the fight with Tuck, you had a short rest.
Okay.
So, again, the back and forth. So, Zlatoda, just going through, as you're with the range squad. So, Fenrir, as you're with the infantry, you pour in, you begin trading blows with just a swarm of thugs that begin just pumping out of this building, just, fighting fiercely, fighting for their lives. Is there anything you're looking to do specifically in the battle, or you're just fighting?
Let's see. Fender. Nah, he honestly would just be fighting. He would be looking to survive and keep Cybele alive as well. Like, once he starts fighting there, he would be more in stay alive, kill who's not with us. Obviously, if he sees Throm, he's not gonna fucking kill him because he's been told, what he looks like. So he's going to maybe he might attack him, but he's not just gonna, he might start fighting, but he's gonna realize after fighting for like a bit. But right now he's just focused on staying alive and killing who's not with them.
Okay, Throm, go ahead and roll a straight d20 with no modifiers. Zlatota, go ahead and roll a d20 with no modifiers.
Oh boy. What the fuck? Why don't
Ooh, yeah. My luck from yesterday's carrying over. First roll of the day, a nat 1.
Alright, so as you begin, Zlatota, to trade back and forth, you guys do get some gain on the people in the upper floors, but as you look down, you can see a lot of the archers had begun like pointing downwards, trying to take out a lot of the ground troops, as the swarm just begins to overtake the infantry that are in the front, as they begin to solidify and stand their ground in the courtyard. Throm, so as you take these few minutes, you kind of like throwing your stuff on. What do you wish to do?
Alright. As I put my stuff on, I'm gonna pause for a second and reach under my armor. And is my totem still there?
Yes.
Okay. And just kind of blank for a second, thinking about the dream, and then and I'm gonna run out the room towards where everybody was heading.
Okay, so you're kind of like, it's like you're in the back of the line at the amusement park, like everybody's like trying to extrude themselves out the door. Some of them are just jumping out the window, and they're just fighting for their lives.
You know what? I'm gonna, since it's clogged up, I'm gonna and try to find higher ground. So I'm gonna go up the apartment.
Okay, yeah, so you go up the stairs. Zlatoda, as you are already aimed there, you see on the second story as a large white dragonborn familiar begins to dart up the stairs, looks both ways. So what are you doing, Throm, as you get to the second floor? Are you just looking more for a like fly out the window, or are you?
How many floors is it?
There's, I mean, you don't really know, but your guess would be just based on, because you've been in front of the building, you've been in the building. Guess probably about like 4 floors or so.
I'm gonna keep going up.
Okay, so you see him. He kind of looks both ways for a second. Goes up to the 3rd floor. Are you going all the way to the top?
Yeah.
Okay, keeps running up to the 4th. Yeah, so you do get up to the 4th floor, and at this point you're overlooking pretty much the whole courtyard from some of these windows. You're not on like the rooftop, but you're in like essentially a hallway with a bunch of wide paned windows that are facing the courtyard area. And you can see that there's just a bunch of armored men that are had swarmed this complex, and Tuck's men seem to have the advantage here. They're pushing them back with just a pure tenacity.
I'm gonna go to the window, and I don't know if it's open or not. If it's not,
no, it wouldn't have been open. So
I'm just gonna kind of lean out the window, like,
Can
what
I
the fuck is going on?
put an arrow in that windowsill if I still see him? Like, I'm not wanting to hit him, but I'm wanting to hit the windowsill next to him. Get him to look where it came from.
Go ahead and make an attack roll. Okay, yeah,
Because
perfectly placed as he goes to peer his head out the window. What is going on? He's just
Jump back up. And I'm gonna go behind, and like if I can find a place to duck, so I peek out
And
try to see.
after I hit the windowsill, I'm going to start.
just so I know, hold on just 1 second. So you don't have dark vision, correct, Throm?
No.
Okay.
For some stupid reason. Yeah.
So you see a bunch of silhouettes that appear to be archers on the other way. I'm just gonna say, because there's enough torchlight in here, that you see the silhouettes, but you can't. Yeah. Just throwing that out there. That's what you see, Throm.
I was going to say, after I shot, I was going to basically pump a fist in the air and kind of wave it, because I want him to see it is me. I have a tail. Hopefully he recognizes me. Because hopefully he only knows one archer who can pull off a shot like that.
Intelligence check?
I would say you could do that, or you could try and do a perception check. Again, just from this distance, it's dark, and you can only kind of see silhouettes. You do see, it looks like he's throwing his arm in the air. So I would say you could do a perception check, or you could do an intelligence check.
What is that weird fucker doing? Shoot at me, then you're done, sir.
Yeah, so as you squint a little bit, and you can see just barely the shape of the face elongated, and then you see the tail in the back ever so, the gradual radius as it curls around.
The hell is he doing there? Why did they shoot at me? What the fuck is going on? I want to kind of look below in the courtyard and look behind me. Well, one way to find out. And I'm gonna climb out the window, squeeze my body out, and leap. Arms out of the window. And
All right.
I dive down. Wings come out, and I just glide towards where the shot came from.
Okay. As you get closer and closer, the image becomes more crisp of your friend Zlatoda. And as that happens, you see a bunch of the archers begin to pull back and then notice the large body of a white dragonborn, and they ease and begin directing their fire towards the lower floors and the I'm trying to think of it, but ground level.
Zlatoda! As I land. What the hell are you doing here?
Well, looking for you, basically. Also, look at this. You wouldn't.
What am I looking at?
The people.
Oh. What? The people?
I know you said you had a contact before you got taken away, but can your contact do this?
I mean, I don't know. I was going to talk to him tomorrow. Actually, we became pretty good friends. A mutual respect. I was going to leave out here in the morning.
Well, I have slightly better news.
Okay.
I don't know what kind of deal Tuck made with you, but the person I made a contract with just so happens to be, I guess, the lord of this town. And that princess is important because of marriage and political reasons with the North. So I think you can find a better deal.
I don't know. That sounds kind of shitty, to tell you the truth. If he's the lord of it. Yeah. Does not bode well for that marriage. But
I won't argue that.
the social commentaries of political marriages during the battle. Sorry, my phone was ringing. Well, I'm here now. Do you just want to leave, or?
Just throw him going. Darn my throat. My phone is ringing. So there's like, what?
So as you guys make this exchange, the archers begin to kind of like turn to you and half pay attention, realizing that they've got kind of what they were after, but the battle continues. So go ahead, Throm, roll a d20 with no modifier. Zlatoda, roll a d20 with no modifier.
Painfully average.
So average.
No.
Oh, the low average.
So as the two sides kind of have somewhat of a stalemate, pushing each other back and forth, you hear one voice shout out, "It's Tuck!" And get like cut short as just like this big massive dude. You see Fenrir. For some reason I keep forgetting your name. Fenrir, you see as just this overly jacked dude comes out. He's just like shirtless, has like these like baggy kind of cotton pants on, and just like begins charging forward and pulls out this large knife that's at his thigh and just begins slicing people up, going right through the armor.
Ah, there he is, my friend Tuck. As I'm like just waving from the roof. Pretty sure he can. I mean, he may not be able to see me, but I'm just waving. Yeah, there he is.
The morale of the front line begins to weaken as Tuck's men begin to push them back farther and farther and cut them down.
He's good. He's really good.
This is not a good situation. I'm getting these guys out of here. They came to find you, to find the princess. I found you. You came over here. I'd say come with us, but I'm not a man strong enough to stop you.
No, I will stay. But I'll give you this bit of information. I dropped the girl off to a man named Gervais at this weapon shop in. And I'll tell them the name of the weapon shop. By the way, I stole a rapier from that shop that I still have and never got to do anything with it. Sorry, neither here nor there. I just wanted to throw that reminder out there. It was a pretty nice rapier that I stole. And I'll mention the shop. You may want to check it out maybe tonight. That is what I gave Cynthia Gerlowit. She seemed to know the man, so
All right.
I'll go back and pretend I never left, and I'll bring him to the shop in the morning. But you already should have warned everybody, yes?
All right. We'll go with that, but if things go wrong, I doubt I can pull something like this again.
Oh, if things go wrong, I just fly away. And as I say that, I'll just like step backwards off the roof. See you soon, friend. And I'll head back to that window that I squeezed out of.
I'm going to turn to the archer, just the one to my right. I'm sure you heard that.
No, actually, I'm gonna drop down next to Tuck.
So, you haven't seen. You saw Throm for a brief second. So, Fenrir, as you're fighting, you and I always forget Cybele, right?
Yes, Cybele.
Alright, so you and Cybele fighting kind of like back to back, trying to keep these men from encroaching further. You slit one down as he begins to bleed out, and you just see a large white blur come across maybe like 10 feet in front of you as he picks himself up. You can see this is the man that was dragged down by Tuck, lands right next to Tuck, who at this point is pretty much on a rampage.
That was good.
Okay.
I got your ear.
Okay. Okay, so I see this as I'm fighting and shit. And so I'm fighting and I see him drop down next to
Tuck.
and say he's got his back.
And I draw my sword. You see me like just swinging it. Now, since Tuck is kind of in his frenzy, I'm actually hitting the guys with like the back of my sword. I'm not lethally cutting anybody down. I'm just kind of hitting them and bruising them, making them forceful so that just smacking them so it looks like I'm doing something, but I'm not really.
If that's how you're gonna do it, go ahead and make a performance check. So as you, well, I mean, like, if you're trying to cleave people and there's no blood or anything, you know what I mean? Like, it is in the heat of battle, but yeah. So
wrong side of the sword. Now I'll flip it back over and I guess start to not lethally. I just oh, sorry, wrong side. You must have hit me hard.
He like looks to you for a brief second and cracks a really wide smile before kind of patting you on the shoulder and then charging forward. That's the spirit! As he just jumps up and just stabs a dude in the neck and just kind of like almost like in a round scalpel motion, just off comes the head. As the blood just gushes all over him, he just begins like going crazy. The people in the front line are just like, as they just begin getting cut down.
You just kind of do that look on your face you give, like, ugh, this guy. Okay, and
yeah, at this point, there's still probably more numbers on the infantry side, but the morale-wise is going in the favor of Tuck's men.
Right. And the thing I was gonna do was turn to the archer next to me and go, you grab some people, pull some guys off their back lines. You were right there when we had the conversation. Go to that go to that store.
They nod. Begin running off. Like two of them run off, and the rest of them begin. They just like make a firing squad, and they're just like trying to pick out, like you said, the people in the back.
And I'll turn to the archer to my left. Spread the word. Some of you keep firing at their archers. The rest of you pincushion that man.
Okay.
Right. So I saw Throm in the heat of combat, just sort of Lanian starts lashing at us.
Yes.
Drawn blood, but no killing.
I'm going to make a dash for him, for Throm.
Okay.
Sort of weave my way to get to him.
Okay.
Right. And as I get close, I'm going to take a slash, not at, sort of like how Thrum was doing the whole fake thing earlier, kind of like that, but instead of doing the wrong side of the blade, it's gonna be more of I'm slashing with intent, but I'm not aiming for. I'm basically just aiming at his sword, like I know it's not gonna hit him. But I'm slashing with intent.
Okay. Go ahead and make a performance check.
Better.
All right. So Throm, you see see this gentleman with a wolf kind of like run up and begin attacking you. He seems like he's legitimate as you trade blows.
Aye. Throm, I presume.
That'd be my name, little man. As I take a swipe at him.
Aye. I saw what happened last night. Got into a bit of rough trouble with these people as we're kind of exchanging blows. I'm the one that helped your friend there get back up on his feet. Care to tell me what's going on here?
As I kind of I look a little over my shoulder at Tuck. As I told him knows. He knows what to do. You find him, and he'll tell you the rest of the plan. I'll stay here though.
Alright. I'm going to say... Okay, I am going to... This is going to be interesting. Fenrir is going to give him a nod. And he's kind of like... a bit of a smart-ass smile. And he's just going to say... and he's just basically going to say... look right. As he jumps and basically uses Thrum's face as a... jumping pole, like not a footing to jump away. So just gonna let you go. Hey, look left. Jump on his face. Use his face as a stepping platform and jump away. Do you want me to roll an acrobatics check or?
Sure.
Oh god. Fuck me. Not less than graceful, but.
Yeah, as you and you fall short and just like you get some distance, like you push off of him, but it's not like a piece of wood, you know what I mean? It has some give to it.
Yeah.
So when you're pushing off, like you only end up getting like 6 feet or so, and then you just like you slap down onto your hands and knees, and then you like scrawl back up.
And then I fuck off and go to Latona.
Listen, let me help you out. And, bro, I don't know. I just looked confused. Like, what the fuck was that? I thought this a weird fellow, weird friend. And I'll go back to.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So
I
again,
just want to have a bit of fun.
Tuck is right there. So as you do that, he sees you kind of kick off Throm's face, and he looks over to Throm. As Tuck begins to come after you, he reaches out towards you. I'm not
Me
gonna...
or Throm?
You. As he looks over, you essentially kick off of Throm's face and propel yourself. You're not that far in front of him. Like, they were like side by side while you were doing this, you know.
Yeah.
So he reaches out for you. It's not going to be a super multi attack. It's just going to be the one, whatever the first one is of this. So a 12. I assume that doesn't hit you.
No, it does not. 15 is my AC. Same
Okay.
for Cybele.
Okay. So he reaches out, but amidst the chaos, you just weave through people.
That's kind of hole in my face. That little fucker was fast. I'm too big for all this.
So as he reaches out, like you say that, he turns to, as you're talking, like you're in a conversation, but it's like his head is focused on you, but the rest of his body is still doing something else. Throm, he grabs somebody, and you just hear a sickening crackle and pop as he snaps somebody's neck.
But you are good. I knew that was the reason I liked you. Come, let us push them further back.
As he just, again, he's just like a powerhouse. So you said you're gonna fire against him. Latoda, are you also firing against him, or?
Yeah, I told the archers, some of you focus their archers, rest of you just pincushion that guy, and I'm firing also. I'm
Alright, go ahead. So you make your fires. Your firings, I should say.
just to make sure I get that off. How close is he actually? Is he within the 90 feet, or is he too far?
I would say yes, because this is more of like in the middle of the complexes. Yeah.
So he's... Yes, he's what?
Yes, he's within 90 feet.
Okay. Has he been injured yet?
No, not that you can tell.
Okay.
I'm half health with no rage, so I'm definitely not.
Okay. I'm gonna have to roll a longbow as normal, and then roll the d6. I don't have one for just the Hunter's Mark.
Okay. Alright, so that's enough to hit.
And then my second shot. Longbow. I don't have my longbow Cluster Slayer.
Alright.
And then the... Ooh, threes.
Alright, so as you... as two arrows sink deep into it, and he just looks up towards you with just like this hatred. Fenrir, you said you're making your way back towards Latoda's. Latoda's like on top of a giant building. It's gonna take you like a little bit to get up there, just so you know.
Yeah, he's just looking. He's looking for him because Throm told me to, talk to Latoda because he knows. So I want to, know what the fuck's going on because I just saw the guy we're supposed to be saving fighting alongside the guy who supposedly captured him.
Okay, so go ahead and roll 2d6. Throm, go ahead and roll 2d8. And you take that much damage. Throm, it would be halved because you're raging.
I don't have a rage. I'm not raging, so I'll take it.
Alright.
Oh, good. Now one.
Well, it was-
Okay, so just given the number of people, and obviously like Fenrir, you're like turning your back and trying to rush your way back through the crowd, like inevitably you guys are going to get hit. So rather than make like 20 million rolls. So All right. So as they bear down, go ahead and roll another. Yeah, go ahead and roll another 2d6. Zlatoda. These are the archers against Tuck.
These threes.
These sixes, 3 6s in a row.
No, look at
Okay.
me. I've rolled 4d6 in a row, and they're all threes.
Yeah, I've also
So,
rolled a 2d6 and just 2 3s as well.
Oh boy.
so,
I've got to see this. If there's another double 3, something's going on here.
so at that,
Wow.
Tuck kind of like, "Whoa!" Yells out and like calls back to the men. Get those fuckers! As just the back line begins pulling out, like all of his men pretty much have the standard issue crossbow, and they load it up, and as just a bunch of bolts come out from the backside. A lot of them just fall short or just snap against the stone of the top, like the rooftop. But some of them do manage to hit. So Zlatoda, go ahead and roll. I believe the damage is D10 on those. So go ahead and roll 2D10. As you see, probably about a third of the archers that are around you that were picking off stuff get shot and fall to the ground while bleeding.
All right.
So go ahead now and Throm, roll a d20 with no modifier. Zlatoda, roll. Actually, hold on. I'll still make it Throm because you're kind of on Tuck's side right now, and I'll have it be Fenrir. You do the d20 that opposes it.
Have some luck, unlike me.
All right, yeah, things are not looking good at this point. Especially now that Throm, the one that they had come to rescue, is seemingly in cahoots with Tuck. The two are just a powerhouse. They're cleaving through large waves of enemies. And it seems as though Tuck is making an effort. Zlatoda, you notice that he is making an effort to clear a path to the building that you are in.
All right.
Like he is moving towards your direction with purpose.
I'm gonna turn to the archers, sound a retreat. This isn't going well, and if he gets up here with us, that we're out of Aerosport. We need to go, and we already know where the princess is.
Yeah, 2 of them had already left. So at this point, you had about 10, like spread across everything. So that would be 8, a couple more drops. So you have about 5 people left with you right now.
All right. So yeah, we're sounding a retreat. We're getting out.
All right. So as you sound the retreat, you hear there's like a couple of like light horns go off as you guys just begin to, haul ass off the rooftop throughout the alleyways and make your way through. Throm and Fenrir, what are you doing? So Fenrir, you're making your way towards that building. You can see like Tuck and Throm appear to be like cleaving a path not far behind you, like they're with purpose coming towards your direction. And as you look back over towards, again, you can't see what's on the rooftop from this angle, but you're making your way, but you hear from up above you the brrrr.
Like, guess things are going as badly as I thought they were. Time to get the hell out of here. And he is going to do this on himself.
Okay. Sweet.
So yeah, so now he and Cybele actually have the same movement. So he is gonna dash the same speed that Wolf with the Wolf, like dashing full speed alongside him out of there.
Yeah. I mean, either way, you don't really get your full movement just because there's like a bunch of people crammed in here, but you definitely swifter. So, but yeah, no problem. So, Throm, you actually see as this figure that was trading blows with you, you made a quick exchange with, he begins to dart off at a fairly quick pace.
I'll
Yep, go ahead.
I was gonna say as I'm fighting, I'll kind of drift off away from Tuck. Not necessarily going away from Tuck, just kind of like my fight is just taking me in a different direction.
Right.
Like maybe I see a group that seems like they need some help, and I'll move towards that way.
Okay.
Not necessarily to do anything, just to kind of put more pressure on Tuck by having him more so fight without me by his side. So I'm just gonna kind of move off to a different area, or try to fight my way out to a different area.
Okay. 10-4. So as you're doing that, again, you see Fenrir and the wolf run off. Just the morale is totally in your favor. A lot of the infantry are just scared. Some of them just begin retreating. And what I am going to do, just because this is still kind of battle, is so Zlatoda, go ahead and roll 2d10. So as you guys attempt to escape, there are still bolts firing at you. If anything, there's probably more bolts firing at you, as the back guard has kind of had more support. Right, it's not under the fire now that you guys are starting to retreat. So you take that amount of damage. 2 more of the guys drop. And Throm, go ahead, 2d8. Fenrir, I'll say you don't take anything because not only are you retreating, but you also used your spell to do that. So I'll consider you safe damage-wise for this. Okay, so a couple of the infantry are essentially bound, not killed, and kind of dragged off to the side as the last remaining of the infantry that were trickling in begin to retreat. Tuck's men form a semicircle. The losses, although quite heavy, the morale in their favor as they begin to beat their chests and call out to the skies, "Oh!" Just a cacophony of roars and just victory cries as Tuck kind of leads and just like bashes on his chest in a rhythmic fashion. All of his men begin to do the same thing, and Zlatoda, as you retreat, Fenrir, as you retreat, you just hear this doof, 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 as just some sort of pounding noise. It's almost like just a battle drum almost. As you hear these noises fade out into the background as you quickly work your ways through the alleys.
Enjoy this one victory. We know the princesses.
And I think that's a good spot for like guys want to take like a 10 minute break?
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Yep.
I need some high quality H2O.
That's high quality too.
I've been drinking 2 liters of tea while you guys are speaking.
Yeah, well you got nothing on Weiler. He's drinking 4 gallons of various liquids.
We need a
He's peed them all out. He's peed
He's ju-
twice
he's-
as much
he's-
out.
he's just- He's
I
just
ju- I
got
just
an oil
drank a
drum
lot.
next to him in his fucking living room, in his fucking bedroom. With like a massive,
Well, no,
with just his
No, he
actually,
has
if I-
two. There's
just-
one
yeah,
above.
Yeah,
There's-
yeah.
Actually,
He's got an
if I
oil
had
drum,
that,
and he's
I
just got a fucking straw coming out of it, and he just
If I
constantly
had that, I
sipping.
wouldn't have to leave so often.
Right. Yeah. I think his next investment should just be a
Maybe
catheter.
that's actually the solution. No. I just drink a lot, man.
Whenever Weiler goes to swimming pool,
First
what's
one. First roll, natural 20.
Aldrin has broken the universe.
Ah.
I have.
Prepare thyself for the fucking M. Night Shyamalan shit to come.
honestly, if you think like seriously, if you think Fenrir was
Wow.
Weasley
Okay,
there,
I'm gonna stop pressing that. That's using him as a.
you think Fenrir was Weasley there. If I put this, I just couldn't get opportunity attacks on me. So yeah, lol. Fenrir is going to be a Weasley fucker later on, like with water walking and Zephyr Strike and Long Strider and all that shit. And the awesome part is later on, I think it's like level 14 or something. One of my Beastmaster skills make it so Cybele also gets all buffs I get from magic. So if I put that on myself, Cybele will also have Zephyr Strike and all, which should be awesome.
All things considered, that went better than I thought. I was worried it was going to turn into a we
Wow.
must murder Throm to make sure Tuck doesn't find out.
Oh. 5.
Thank
Oh,
God my performance roll is a little better than Throm's.
Jeez. I think I took your guys' luck.
Which makes sense considering what we were doing. Like Throm was just hitching with his side of his blade, which is more noticeable. I was swinging with full intent. I just happened to aim for his blade instead of
I
his
just had to
neck and all
actually kill
that.
people, so. Whoops.
Wow.
Nick, stop it! You're wasting your fucking rolls.
20, 15, 9, 6, 8, 17, 26, 13.
Dude, I can't wait for level 5, man.
My
because I'm gonna
luck,
get the-
my luck is still down.
Oh, fuck dice rolls. I'm just gonna do it anyway.
The fuck is that? Dude, I can't wait for level 5 though. Because combat wise it'll be awesome then, because I get my extra attack then from Ranger. So that'll let me attack with myself and Cybele on the same turn, and because I'm dual wielding, I also get 2 attacks from my bonus action. So I'll effectively attack 3 times every turn.
You attack, Cybele attack, and you're offhand.
No, I attack. No, I use my attack to have Cybele attack, and then my extra attack is just a regular extra attack. It's not a bonus action. So then on top of that extra attack, I get my bonus action attack from the dual wielding.
Yeah, you get to swing once with the offhand.
No,
So
I get. No, it's
Using your Beastmaster thing takes up your entire attack action.
yeah, and the extra attack lets me
The
attack
extra
normally.
attack is part of your attack action.
Yeah, the extra attack's part of the attack action.
Oh,
If you take a different action, you don't get to attack.
This is why Beastmaster.
It says-
This is why Beastmaster Ranger is bad.
no, it says once you have the extra attack feature, you can make him one attack yourself, and you can command the beast to take an attack action as well.
What
And
is
if I take the
what is
attack
the
action-
extra attack feature. Hold on, what are you talking about?
It literally says it right there. It literally says right there, like on the feat itself for the Beastmaster for my companion.
Yeah. You attack your second part of your attack. So you attack the other attack from your extra attack is to command the beast.
Yeah, and my second attack isn't from extra attack; it's from dual wielding. I can attack
Yeah,
2 times right now already. If you're dual wielding, when you take the attack action, you can use your bonus action to make a bonus attack with your offhand.
Yes, that's
You
what I said.
understand what I'm saying here?
That's
So what I'm saying is my beast attacks, then
Yeah.
because with my extra attack feature, and when I attack normally, my I still get to do an offhand attack with my bonus action.
So,
So
I'm just
basically
saying
what-
from every time that I've seen somebody use a Beastmaster Ranger, if you control your beast in any way, you no longer get your action.
Except for this.
I don't know what that is.
I literally just fucking typed it out. It's
I,
right there.
and yeah, and it's a lot of stuff. And once you have the extra attack feature, what does that mean?
It's
Once
a
you
level
hit
5
the-
feature.
yeah,
It's a
fifth
level
level, you
5
get
feat.
extra
It's a level
attack
5. I get to
certain
attack
classes.
one more time. I
So
get to take
your
the
extra-
attack
the
action
extra
2
attacks
times.
is part of
You
your
get to attack.
class,
You get to
Yeah,
attack
okay.
twice on the one action.
Mhm.
but still,
Yeah.
that's and it's not.
And it's literally
conglomerative
say,
like
and it
that.
literally says there. And
Yeah,
it
says
I
you
can
can
make
do
one
both.
extra attack. The extra attack means I get to attack twice in the attack action, and this feature, like with the Beastmaster, the actual thing that says Ranger's Companion, it says that when I take the extra attack feature, when I take the extra attack, it can split between one attack myself and one attack for my wolf.
Yes, and that's what I said earlier before you said no, that's not it. One attack
Yeah.
for you, one attack for your wolf, and then you get to use your bonus action for your offhand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you said, no, I get to attack three
I
times.
think you worded it semi differently there, and that's why I understood it as you saying no, you don't get your own attack. That's what I understood there.
Yeah, because you said you get to attack 3 times. I was like, no, one of those swings goes to your wolf. So it's
Yeah,
you
and
attack,
no,
the
I
wolf
said
attacks,
effect.
and your bonus.
It's still 3 attacks because it's me, wolf attack, and my attack. It's still 3 attacks.
Yeah, and I can attack 3 times too, because I can grab both my short swords and attack bonus.
It's just weird for me because I've seen people play Beastmaster before in 5e, and
Well, they probably
like-
weren't using short swords then. They probably
And-
were using their bow, in which case they'd get
Yeah,
the bow
they-
and the wolf. If you're using short swords, the 2 short swords, you have the bow. Sorry, you have the short sword attack and the wolf. But because you took the
No,
attack
but
action,
the-
your
hold on.
offhand can use a double attack.
What I'm saying is this person was fucking like level 18 ranger, and so they had multiple extra attacks in their bow. But the thing is that like they're not getting their bonus action attack, yes, but they still have extra attacks they for some reason could not use. Basically, if they controlled their Beastmaster pet, they could not take any form of
I
action
think they
at
just
all.
didn't read. I think they just didn't read the thing properly.
Yeah,
It literally says right there. Like I took the bit specifically that says I can attack and the beast can attack once I get the extra attack.
I've just never seen
Always
that
read.
Like you
before.
can't. The wolf can't. The wolf. If the wolf does like a dodge action, all that, sure, you don't get your attack. You can still move the wolf without you wasting your action. And once you get
Yes.
extra attack, you and the creature gets to attack.
So the person you were playing with probably only read up to the part where for you to make the wolf attack at lower levels, you have to use your action.
Yeah, I think
Probably
they just read up
didn't.
to you can use your
Well, I
action to
mean,
verbally
I-
command it to take the attack, dash, disengage, dodge, or help action. And they
I'm
didn't
just running
read
off
the
of what
once
I've
you have extra attack.
seen people do in like RPG shows and
That
stuff.
yeah, that is called fuck. What is the fucking name of the thing? It was I told it to Nick yesterday. It's fuck. What is the name? It was something evidence. It was. Like, what did I fucking say yesterday? Like, I fucking hate this. I fucking know the words, but then I just forget them when I need them. Yesterday I said it. It was fucking what was it?
Yeah, let me get you that full.
Derogatory evidence or whatever. But it's basically conditional evidence. I don't know. It's basically you're taking into situational maybe is you're taking into account things that you've seen happen in a certain situation and presenting them as evidence for all scenarios besides that situation. So
And let me-
like the way to put it is, for example, say somebody makes a bad play in a game, but it works that game because the enemy team made a really bad play that just happened to work with your play. So you think, oh, therefore that bad play I made must be a good play. No, it's just happened to work there. That's kind of what I'm trying to say here. I think
Yeah,
I'm saying I'm not saying like what you're saying is not true. I'm just saying that
I
think the person you were talking about just didn't understand how Beastmaster worked. Probably.
I understand. It's very strange to me to think about that because I've seen this played literally hundreds of times and I've never seen it work that way. So
yeah, it was just.
Yeah.
Yeah, right here. I got the full where it describes what you can do.
yeah, and I see
Yes.
that, and like I believe it. It's just strange to me.
Yeah, So I think most people stop after that spot of the you can verbally I'll use your action to verbally command it, and don't and kind of end up skipping over the once you get the extra attack feature. Really, they should have separated that into 2 paragraphs to go, this is what you can do. Once you get to, like they do with other abilities, where it's like, okay, here's what it does. Once you get to this level,
Yeah, I
it
think they could have just
upgrades.
formatted. I think they should have just formatted it better, so they can keep it in 1 paragraph, but instead do this. Uh, ba- 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 So it just formatted differently, so it's. Don't know why there's a little space there, like it should be, but it's basically just like when you're talking, like in books, you don't actually, you don't actually start a whole new paragraph. You just, you just take a space and then whatever. You do that. You don't actually do like a whole new paragraph. You just lower it. So they could have done that to format it a little easier for people.
It's also possible it was home ruling, especially at higher levels. Especially at higher levels, because Beastmaster companions, depending on what you chose at the beginning, can get really stupid real fast.
I mean, it's kind of the whole thing though with D&D. It's the whole idea of early on. The whole balancing is that early on, it's actually it's not that useful or easy to use these early on, but then later on they get quite strong. But that's kind of every class.
Well, again, it depends what you choose, because like choosing a wolf, the wolf has that strength check. Anyone bit by it has to pass that or fall. Level 1 enemies, a 11 DC strength check's a bit up in the air. So, and that's a on your action turn, so
Yeah, but that is actually something you can take though. Like the actual difficulty rating for a wolf is 1/4, so you can actually take that even without the whole backstory. You just named it a wolf because dire wolf would be crazy, and that's for like later on, eventually
Yeah.
later on.
Like just
And
in general, and I've said this a lot of times before, but seeing players that I know and respect playing them, it makes it a bit better. But I just don't really appreciate Ranger as a class very much in 5e. I feel like it was poorly done.
Rangers usually don't get very good kind of setups, because you're either that dude from the woods who only does things with the woods. We're in a city. Oh, I hate the city. The city is a terrible place. Or you've got that I am a ranger, but I'm from the city and know nothing about the forest.
And also, like,
It could be like an arcane archer. Those are really cool.
I don't like the stereotype of what a ranger is as well.
I think you just don't like how Laura played her ranger.
That's also true, but I just don't really like rangers that much in general.
Yeah, because the ranger being a hunter, I was like, that's good. That's usually kind of a thing that goes, but let's take this and let's just take it up a bit.
Or like,
not only
what you did is you took the like, oh, this guy's a hunter and survival and stuff like that, and then you went, all right, let's make this character actually interesting.
Yeah, I went from, okay, rangers usually shown as hunters. I'm going to be a hunter. But I'm going to be... Dang it. I'm going to be the greatest hunter. Nothing gets past me. Nothing sees me. I will drop something if I can in one turn.
Try.
Yeah. I'm not big on cities because I am from a swamp and from a society where cities and classes and just a hierarchy is not a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Fenrir. Isn't a hunter. He has just been put into the scenario where he has to interact with regularly. So he's kind of picked up on some features and things that they do, like hunting and all that. Like he's sort of picked up on that. But his actual background is more of a military background, being trained in the city watch of his city. So you have this guy that knows how things work, and he is sort of all that and sort of understands cities, but can go into wild. Like it's not this whole hunter thing. It's just
Mhm.
he's a slasher, really. That's like all the abilities I'm going to be using for him are going to be based on mobility and sort of the whole wolf thing, the whole thing that he's got a bond with his sister, and that bond kind of means he's gotten picked up a couple more things from wolves.
And that
Like I feel like I'm kind of biased against the idea of nature magic in general as well, because I also don't like druids.
I love druids, and I was actually worried when I asked about spells if, like, as Zlatoda went, if he was going to have to go to that academy for the arcane, because I was like, would he have to go there because they're going to want to keep track of him? Because if they do have, like, ranger classes, it's going to be, okay, who's here because they want to be part of nature and stuff. Get the hell out of the class. You don't belong here. You're already part of nature. You can't get out of that. Who's here because you like animals? Go be a farmer. Who here thinks nature's their friend? You're an idiot. Nature may cure most wounds. Nature also causes almost all. Nature will kill you in 2 seconds. It doesn't care. You are part of the cycle.
Yeah, I imagine any actual academy would not teach nature magic. You come in with that shit and they're just like, get out.
Honestly, I also just like Fenrir in general because he's a very his character, like his personality, in that is more of a social or like civilization based person, someone who grew up in a city and grew up with people and was part of a unit. Like he's actually socially what's the word?
Capable.
Not capable. As in he was introduced, like he's been socially. I don't know. You get the idea. Like he is used, and he is like being in a social environment is normal for him.
He
But
knows that.
because of circumstance, he has picked up and has these more wild traits and features. And it's sort of like the clash between these two that I find interesting. For example, like just this flaw, man, it's one of my favorite flaws I've come up with. Fenrir has an excellent sense of smell, and his hearing is impressive. However, Fenrir probably wishes this wasn't the case, as a super sensory hangover is at the bottom of his to-do list. Unfortunately, due to his highly social nature, this is the case.
Like I actually
So as in a guy that's got like super good sense, like from being a hunter and having all these experiments done to him, but because of his sort of social upbringing and sort of the way he's used to, being with people and all that, he still drinks and all that, and that sucks for him because of his wild things now.
like I actually quite like Fenrir because Fenrir breaks the kind of mold and stereotype of a ranger, and that makes me appreciate him more. And that's kind of how I felt about making Vernant as a character as well when I decided to go rogue, because Vernant is probably the exact opposite of everything a rogue should be. Rogues are generally lower class, rough and tumble criminal dudes, and Vernant is literally totally incompetent at 80% of the things a rogue should be able to do.
And what's your thoughts on Zlatoda? For
And I like
his,
Dakota as well.
yeah, I mean, like, be honest, because
Zlatoda's the worst. You guys ready? We're get back from break.
yeah,
I suppose, yeah. I
All right.
I like
Zlatoda's the worst. We should just kill him off now.
No, Zlatoda's good. I like him. He's a good character.
Sucks.
It's
And
gonna be
also,
fun.
you're the first ranger I've seen in a long time that's actually useful.
It's gonna be fun if we end up with more politics. I am the king. Kiss the ring. Why? Why is this?
Just the ranger duo in politics is hilarious. Yeah, Zlatoda's like, why? What are we doing? And then Fenrir's like, fuck off, yeah, practically twat.
And then you have Vernon like about to stab all of you.
Or try to. Before he trips and falls on his ass in front of like 3 thugs.
He trips, falls, and then slips and like goes through some transdimensional shift, falls out the window, and kills himself.
No,
That's-
he
that's
does
where
all
it's
that.
up.
He does all that, but then he somehow lands on the bad guy, and his rapier goes through his throat as he's landing. He's like, "I meant to do that."
Yeah, going back.
Yeah.
Just back to the game.
Mhm.
All right. So, yeah, as you guys, as Latota, as you and the leftover scouting men make your way through the alleyways, that's kind of where we left it. So, panning back over to, hold on, just give me 1 second here. Gotta put the music back on. So, panning back over to Martha. So, it takes you a while to fall back asleep. Do you ever fall back asleep? That's the question.
What would that be? Would you think like a constitution check or?
Really, if you think she would find it in herself to go back to sleep.
She gets zero sleep.
Okay.
Maybe she naps like for a few minutes, but she never gets into like actual sleep.
Okay. So I was actually gonna have you make a check anyway. So we'll say you have 1 point of exhaustion.
I'll just casually remind myself that everything's going to be a disadvantage today.
Okay, and then what I'd also like you to do is make a d6 roll. Okay. So, as you hear the calls of the morning birds, as the sun begins to go from a dark black navy blue transition into more of a violet, and ultimately somewhat of a like an orange as the sun begins to come up. Your partner stirs. He kind of turns over, nestles up against you, and after a few minutes of tossing and turning, finally. Oh, morning.
Good morning.
After he gives you kind of like a pat and looks up, real serious, shoots up in bed. What happened to your neck? Are you okay?
My neck. She looks very confused. She's going to sort of touch her neck and see if anything's up.
Yeah. So your neck is just very stiff. It feels like it's just very tender, just very bruised. Again, you feel like that kind of like cotton throat. And as you get up, you check the large mirror that's in the room, and you can see the imprint. It's almost as if there's a large collar or something around your neck of just bruising, just nasty, darkish purple spots lining all the way around your neck.
Conrad can probably just see her mouthing, "What the fuck?" She looks very concerned now.
He jumps out of bed to kind of get beside you, and just kind of looks you up and down. What?
I
Just speechless, kind of like reaching towards it for a second and not really knowing what to do.
Conrad, I think this might not be the best town to stay in.
He looks
Something
confused.
Something's not right here. I think that's obvious. Something definitely came in here in the night. It's a
Yeah.
long story.
And now that you've been vertical for a minute or so, you're beginning to feel slightly nauseous. Your head's pounding a little bit. You can feel the soreness in your neck. It kind of creeps up the back of your neck, almost like to your skull, kind of like a stress headache or something. And yeah, you don't feel 100%. Like you said, like just something's not right. Go ahead and take 4 hit points off your maximum HP.
Oh shit! All right,
Conrad,
she's down to 41.
Conrad, and also make a note. Make a note of how many hit points, so like we don't forget about it in the future. So somewhere,
I'll put it in like my ideals or something.
yeah, just put -4 maximum HP. So Conrad takes you by the hand and kind of leads you over to the bed. I think you should lay down, dear. Let me put on some pants and I'll go get someone.
No, I was supposed to go get you breakfast this morning. Even as she's saying this, she's already laying down. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I don't know what's gotten into me.
He runs his fingers through your hair a bit. Don't worry. I'll find someone. Sure.
All right.
And just to clarify, it is morning now, right?
Yeah, it is like, it's not just morning, it is like the crack of like the sun is just barely coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Martha's just going to try and sit there and think and wondering. She has a pretty good idea, but she also doesn't know how the hell she'd explain it to Conrad. Okay, I'll tell you what. You get breakfast and someone, and I'll try and figure a way out to... You need an explanation, and I'm not sure how I can give it to you.
He keeps the like the gaze for a few seconds longer than normal before turning off and heading down. Vernant, you kind of snap awake to just the clattering of footsteps past your door.
I don't imagine he was getting very good sleep anyway, but yeah. I mean, he doesn't really do anything, but it probably urges him to get up and try and start the day.
All right. Eldrin, yeah, you as well, because you're just doing meditating, so you hear the sounds of the footsteps. I assume you're in the same establishment.
Yeah. I mostly just follow him around. Mostly.
So following Conrad.
Well, mostly Martha, who's with Conrad.
Oh.
No, Martha's upstairs.
Yeah, right now. Yeah, Martha's upstairs. I was just saying that I would assume that you're like probably in your room at this time of morning. It's not really, or maybe if you're still out taking a walk or whatever it is.
I mean, I only needed like 4 hours of meditation.
Right. But
Probably
in
still.
order to get a long rest, you still need to rest for 8 hours, but it can be something very light duty, like taking a small stroll and then like sitting on a bench and contemplating life, or like reading a book or whatever. You know what I mean? Like something very like leisurely and relaxing. But you still have to take a rest for 8 hours, even though only 4 of them meditation wise is your sleep, if you will.
Yeah. So since it's early in the morning, I'd like to still be in the room, as there's no reason for me to go down unless I hear something weird, which apparently I did.
All right. So yeah, you guys awake. Um, yeah, if anybody chooses to go downstairs, you'll note that Conrad has left the establishment. He comes back shortly thereafter with a mail. Again, I don't know exactly what you guys are doing, what your plans were for the day, but we'll just say if you're there, you see this. If not, then so be it as well. Martha.
I imagine that. I was gonna say that Vernon is going downstairs and like basically trying to start his day, looking for service people in the inn and stuff like that, or wherever we are, tavern or whatever.
Yeah, there's still probably like a few more hours until it's like normal people are awake.
Yeah. So
But
no staff.
yeah, at this point, no, it's just like maybe because like Innkeep would probably rise early, there may be somebody up, but this is like just barely the crack of fucking light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had no idea what to do then. I don't do well with small towns.
It's alright. Well, but you bum around for a little while until you find somebody, until the Innkeep wakes up and starts doing his like preparation for the day. You see Conrad kind of rush past. He has a gentleman with him. Kind of like rushes up the stairs, and Martha, after a little while, whether or not you get any semblance of sleep, Conrad kind of knocks on the door and then comes in, a gentleman behind him. Whew. I found someone.
Please don't tell me you ran the entire way.
Only the whole time. No big deal.
Ugh.
If
She just sort of smiles and shakes her head
I
as she
don't
sits
find
up in bed.
someone to service me, I might just follow Conrad when I see him.
So the gentleman that comes in with him,
Definitely gonna be Quentin.
yeah, goes and takes out. He has like some sort of like medical supplies. Takes out like a stethoscope and starts asking you to like breathe in, breathe out, and he's like measuring your breathing. He's being very cautious of the neck wound. Well, miss, can you remember anything that happened that you may have damaged your neck?
I had a dream that someone was choking me, but surely, no. No, it must have been that dream. Or something.
He looks back to Conrad and to you. And you weren't like this last night.
No. I went to sleep. I had that dream. I got down, got some water, and then we both went back up to bed.
Peculiar. And he continues. He's still like checking you out. And finally, he says, "Give me your hands, please."
Okay. All right. She hands him her hands.
Trust me, it'll be okay. And he takes one of your hands and kind of like puts it around your own neck, like just very gently, and then takes it away and does the same thing with the other side. It's possible it could be, well, a form of sleepwalking, if you will. Creating your dreams into a reality. Possibly. I've never seen anything like it, but there's been stranger things in the world, I suppose.
There was. I'm sure you recall there was a witch. She's still out there, and me and my party were those that saved the town. You don't think that it might be her?
He shakes his head, kind of. What do you mean?
The witch, the one that nearly burned down the town.
He looks to Conrad again, then to you, and then kind of gives you a pat on the shoulder. I must have forgot. He begins packing up his stuff and turns to Conrad and says, "I think she's going to be okay. Just keep an eye on how she's doing, her behavior, and it might be wise to see if everything is going okay while she's sleeping. Just to make sure." And he looks over to you and gives you a nod, and then heads out the door.
He must have forgotten. That's. Well, at least I'm not dead. Ay.
So I'm still up at the room at this time, slowly. So I don't know the place.
I'm gonna go ahead and turn you up just a little bit. Can you repeat that?
I was basically saying that I'm up at the room. The nun came down first, so I didn't know any of this.
Okay.
I did not know anything that happened to Martha. Yet.
Something's definitely not right.
So, yeah. I'm drawing a blank here. I don't know why. Oh yeah, Conrad comes over here, comes over to you, sits on the end of the bed, kind of like puts his hands in yours. See, what did I tell you? Probably just had a stressful couple of days, and possibly, and he kind of like makes like a choking motion with his own hands. Maybe, and he kind of like in a questioning kind of gestures to you.
No, I think I would remember that.
Well,
And
I
I'm
mean,
sure me choking myself would have waken you up.
I did have quite a few last night, and I was fairly beat. So I don't know. Would you have known if you were sleeping? Just
I'm
seems
not
like
sure.
quite a strange thing.
They. It sounds like they don't remember what happened here. And she sort of gives a very brief sort of cliff notes of what happened at this town. Probably sounding crazy while she's doing it. Scarecrows and scarecrows and God, so many scarecrows.
I mean, not any crazier than usual.
Yeah, so he soaks it all in. And well, what happened? What happened to her? He says she escaped.
Yeah. We tried our best to follow her and find her, but she just vanished.
So she could still be around then.
She nods. And that's the only person I can think who would want to choke me. Except maybe you, but for a different reason.
He kind of like half smiles, but like as you say that, he looks to your throat and kind of like, I don't want to say like curls inwards, but makes more of like a. I'm trying to think of how to put it. I can't put it in words, but he kind of like peels away a little bit.
I just. Well, I hope Slatota comes soon so we can go to his little town and away from here. I don't like the idea of staying here much longer. And she's going to try and stand up. Hopefully, the nausea has gone away. And she's going to start heading down. Get dressed, head down. Let's have some breakfast.
All right. So after the whole commotion happened, a couple of people have gotten up. The innkeep's up at this point. He sees you all kind of drifting downstairs and begins, just like brewing tea and just putting out like yesterday's bread and stuff to kind of keep, like give everybody a little something, and then he starts kicking things into gear and making breakfast. And
Vernon kind of
yeah,
approaches
go ahead.
Martha and Conrad as they come down, and is kind of like, "Oh, hello all. My night was uneventful, as far as I can tell."
Well,
I
aren't you
got
the
choked
lucky
out
one?
by a witch.
A witch, you say?
Long story. I'm too tired to explain again.
Point made. That's. We
So-
don't have much magic where I come from. I might need to look into this a little bit.
So at this point, I think I would just come down the stairs and just catch Vernon asking, "What witch?" And I'll just walk over and just say, "Talking about our old enemy, are we, Martha?"
She sort of points to her bruised neck and it's like, I think she knows we came back. Also, look, she sort of wiggles her hand with the ring on it, and she looks delighted.
Okay. And as soon as I saw her ring, I'm just like, that was fast.
And
Life is short.
And then Vernon kind of looks at Eldrin and kind of approaches him, and he's like, "Your name is Eldrin, right? I think. There's some things I've been
Yes.
meaning to ask you.
Oh, like what?
I mean, given your bearing and what I've seen of you, you don't exactly seem like a fisherman's son. Where are you from?"
Well, if you are so interested, I am one of the princes of the elven royal family here, particularly the summer elves. Let me just look at the map again. I forgot the name, even though hang on. I did not give it a name. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, I'm one of the princes of the elven royal family here, of summer elves. So nice to meet you.
Forgive me for prying, my lord. I am also noble from a continent a while off from here, known as Inglod. Vernant of House Barclay, if you will.
Well,
And I kind of shake his hand or whatever gesture. I don't know.
yeah, we kind of basically exchange pleasantries of a noble kind, kind of exhuming this
Like
air of.
we're not being killed right now, so we're realizing, oh shit, we're both fancy as hell.
Technically, I'm higher ranking. I'm higher ranking, but whatever.
Oh, absolutely,
Still
yes, you are.
And then I just look at Martha's bruise again, and I'm just like, that does not look good.
I've
So,
pondered a few medicinal terms in my time, and that's not healthy.
Dungeon Master, if you will, can you tell me what I see?
Ah,
I do have outer sight.
Yeah, I know. This is. I'm trying to think of how to put this.
Well, I'm just hoping to catch any residual traces of
Yeah,
magic, if there is any.
this is more of a. This is more of like a bodily thing, and not so much magic. Unfortunately.
Well, it never hurts to try, right?
unless somebody was choking you to death with Mage Hand, I'm pretty sure there wouldn't be traces of magic. And even then, that would be very hard to do. You'd have to be like an undergrown goblin or something to be choked by Mage Hand.
And is that witch not powerful? We kind of had trouble with it last time.
Also,
So
speaking out of
after
character,
glancing at
because
Martha, seeing
Vernon knows
nothing,
nothing.
I just turn back to Bernard and just basically go, you see, we've been to this town before, and the last time we were here, we ran into trouble of the Fey kind, if you will.
Forgive me, I'm not very schooled in anything beyond philosophy and some performance arts. What exactly do you mean by Fae?
I mean, a vile creature from the Feywild. Very powerful in Fey magic, and hated by many, shall we say. The legends here call this entity the Lady of the Woods.
It's inviting.
And at
Yes, well,
at the mention of the Lady of the Woods, the few other patrons that are in the establishment, as well as the innkeep, just stop what they're doing and look at you.
as you can see, mentioning that title is a bit of a no-no in these parts. So, we try not to mention it too much. But since you don't know anything, I might as well tell you.
It doesn't take a scholar to know that names have power.
Yes, well, last time that entity was here, it burned down half the town and killed a lot of the people here. You can
It.
see that it's
Lol.
yes, it.
Not us.
Yes, it. Uh,
Well,
it killed a lot of the population here, and as you can imagine, the people here are not very pleased.
And after hearing this, I kind of look over to Marfa and Conrad, who I'm kind of considering as the chaperone of this little group at this point, and I'm just kind of like, well, given all this news, how long do we plan on staying here, and for what reason? I'm not fond of small towns myself, and I'm probably gonna get a bit bored.
Honestly, I'm just following the group until my patron gives me my next mission, if you will.
We're
Rest.
waiting on Slatota to take us to his hometown.
Okay. Didn't you mention that you would be meeting them just outside of Hondo?
Yes, and I forgot. I was very tired.
So how do we expect them to know that we went straight to Itzad?
He'll be heading this way anyways.
I suppose.
They're smart enough. They'll figure it out.
Still rather. I would still rather have something definitive than the potential hope that they'll eventually get here.
I say we'll stay 1 or 2 more days. Then, worst case scenario, we could go to Volstand.
I like the sound of that. I've heard a great many things about Volstand.
Unfortunately, Martha, something did cause that bruise if it's not yourself. So, whoever did it is quite aware we're here, and they might be seeking revenge.
As I've said,
That entity is not happy with you or us.
I don't know much about magic, but I'm certain that if something is powerful enough to know we're here, then maybe in our current state, it's not something that we really want to mess with.
Let's just say the entity had plenty of time to lay some ways of connecting with us, should we ever return close to the place we hurt her most. Last time she kind of ran with her tail between her legs in a very battered state.
If we do need to face whatever this evil is, then let's hope that we can at least get all of our people back here and have more bodies to stem the tide.
Well, at least we have some way of defending ourselves, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It was a hard-fought battle back then. I'm scared to see what she is like with vengeance on her mind.
She already had rage on her mind by the time she fought as Martha. I don't think this will make a lot of difference. Her mental state will be similar.
I mean, I've been traveling around fighting and adventuring and doing various things for about a year now, and I have never experienced a fighting group quite like this. I feel like we'll make quite a team.
Yes, well, it's not every day you meet a noble that has been blessed by the Fae.
Didn't you mention
Patting
that
yourself on the back.
the creature was Fae? I'm not gonna question this anymore. It's awfully confusing.
Just like there are different kinds of people, there are different kinds of Fae. Not everyone on this material world is good, and not everyone in the Fae world is bad.
I suppose that makes sense.
While this is happening, Martha is just piling food on her plate.
I don't claim to be a wise person, but I'm not exactly. Well, I can learn.
Can I see if Cure Wounds has any effect on Martha's bruises? Just to kind of remove them, basically. Probably won't affect her health too much, but at least it'll remove the bruise.
Yeah, the bruising comes down quite a bit.
Okay. Well, there goes one of my spell slots.
Wife beater practice, removing evidence.
She won't be my wife, she'll be Conrad's wife, so have fun, Conrad.
You're giving Conrad ideas.
I mean, I think he had the idea once or twice, but who knows?
Oh, thank you, Eldrin.
And also,
Um,
Vernon kind of looks to Eldrin and the group and is just kind of like, next time we get to a larger city, I need to find somebody to peddle some goods off to. Picked up quite a few things off the thugs we handled back in Hondel.
Yes, and when we reach Valstan, I probably would need to visit a bank. of sorts to exchange some money.
A bank would be nice. I'm getting tired of hauling all this silver.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I can come into some money of my own. Looking around you people, I seem to have, gathered up some debt.
Oh yes,
Oh,
another
boy.
reason why the entity hates us is we robbed it of its money.
That
All of it.
doesn't help anything.
Why
No,
would
but it
she
would
even
solidify
need
her reason
money?
for attacking us.
This
It's
is a
not
good
like she
question.
could go to a store and buy things.
I mean, I imagine if an entity is powerful enough to create scarecrows and kill half a town, probably is powerful enough to disguise itself well enough to blend in society. I mean, I could do it if I were a hideous and terrible creature, which I hopefully am not.
He says as tentacles sprout from his nose, his figure.
Martha's gonna sit down and start eating, sort of wait for Conrad to be there before they both eat. Well, boys, here's to hoping that these are just threats and nothing more.
I mean, given the current state of things, as near as I can tell, doesn't really seem like it'd be a great idea to do a full-scale siege on this town. Everybody seems a bit more prepared.
Well, the last time they kind of used an army of the undead or inanimate objects, so it really doesn't matter for her. I mean, scarecrows not exactly in short supply, and neither is wood.
Don't remind me.
Well, hey, worst case scenario, you just fucking bully another scarecrow to death.
Multiple scarecrows.
Hey, worst case scenario, Lady of the Woods starts marching on the town. We just set everything on fire and leave, including the people. It's not like we haven't done that
Did
before.
you say that in character?
No, I have not. I did not say that in character.
Yeah, because then I'll just look at you and say, that'll be genocide.
Vernon is somewhat of a decent person. Somewhat.
Somewhat.
A chaotic good.
I wonder if we hit the Witch of the Wild enough with, like, a stick, she'd, spit out coins like a piñata.
Coming from a man who knows not
That is not
magic,
how the Fae work.
I don't imagine that's how witches work.
Oh, learn to take a joke.
I mean, I don't think coins appear when you squish fairies.
Yeah, I mean,
that doesn't happen.
Anyway,
So that's that. We're eating our breakfast, all
Yeah.
just chatting, having killed the mood of the tavern.
and we're probably just still staring at us like, what the fuck are these people talking about?
Yeah, there's not
Yeah,
really a
we're
whole
not-
lot of people up anyway, so as
I
you
mean, all
guys,
the patrons went silent. We just carried on talking like nobody's business.
yeah, so as you carry on your conversation and you guys are having a good time, whenever we pan out and back into Throm. So like at the very end of like this war chant, as the rest of the forces are just kind of like running for the alleyways. Tuck kind of comes over to you. Well fought.
And you as well. I'm not 100% right now, so I'm sure you know that, though. I give him a small smile.
smiles back. You can see he just has like 2 arrows still sticking out of his chest, like blood just pouring off of him. It's you can't really tell like what is his, what is not his.
I just kind of nod at the blood and the arrows and whatnot. And, I remember those days. Old Dog of War.
So he commands some units to just like stay out and keep watch. Obviously, like a heavier watch this time. He commands a bunch of his people to start picking through the bodies and pulling off all the armor and everything, and then just throwing the dead bodies just in a big pile. And he makes essentially like a funeral pyre, like just a giant funeral pyre of bodies.
So how does it? Does it look like they lost a lot?
Yeah, it looks like Tuck's forces definitely lost some, but quite a few of them ended up being the other side.
Well, I don't know if you want to do anything else tonight, but you mind if I get some rest?
You earned it.
I-
Tomorrow you'll show me where the princess was last seen. We'll go from there.
First thing in the morning.
He nods. As you leave, he just rips out the other 2 arrows that are still stuck in him.
I'll actually. Let me see. Can I? Because I don't think. Yes. Ah, yes. One thing. I'll turn back to him. I'll like maybe lay a hand on his shoulder or something, and cast Cure Wounds for the arrowheads. There you go.
All right.
Hope that's a little better. Have a good night. And I'll head inside.
It'll make a nice scar. Thank you.
Of course, the scars are our stories.
Yeah, and you also know too, like, just you've seen it around, like when you use like healing magic, it like essentially naturally accelerates like your biological healing. So most wounds healed by that have like big scars. Like it usually creates scar tissue. So
Cool.
all right. Yeah, so as you make your way in and then down the complex to kind of like where you were napping just hours ago, and you fall back into slumber. You can go ahead and take a complete long rest. Everything's good. So is Latota and Fenrir. You guys finally managed to meet up. Some of the units still collecting themselves are kind of like, like running into more like the market square sort of area, like a large open area where they can gather their forces.
Since we're by the market square, am I seeing the scouting group I sent out to that store? Because they left not too long after we had to call a retreat.
Yeah, they're like a few minutes in front of you, but not bad. So, I mean, you don't, unless you're going to the shop, like you wouldn't see them just because it's kind of more like down a back alley. It's not like right in the market square. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I'm not going to it. I just wasn't sure how long they had ahead of us. Like if they were on the returning trip with the princess, or if it's just been they're pretty much getting to the store as we're getting here.
Yeah, they're pretty much probably like getting to the store. They were only a few minutes in front of you. It's kind of like you called the orders, and then like in that kind of few moments, like everything started falling to shit.
Yeah. All right. All right. I'm gonna walk around the troops. Just where is the highest in command of you all?
Again, there's units still kind of like trickling in from the the network of alleyways here. They're not all coming out like one central route or anything. But as
Yeah, just
they begin to like look around and like they're just trying to assess the situation, and you see a broken and battered lieutenant from earlier as he kind of spits out just like a big glob of blood and spits it up onto the ground and like hobbles over to you.
Well, that didn't go too well, but I've got two good things of news. First one, I've already dispatched a small group to go to the store the princess was in. If she's still there, they should be able to get her. If not, they should be able to get information on where she went. Second, this will make for a nice little story. I'm gonna heal him up some.
Okay.
Fenrir is gonna walk up to Zlatota and say, I ran into Throm in the battle earlier. He was fighting with Tuck. Asked him what was going on, and he told me to ask you. So, what is all that about?
Yeah, he told me, and in turn also the rangers that were with me, where the princess was. He decided to go back with stay with Tuck. He had told Tuck he was going to take him there in the morning. So that's why I said to people immediately, we need to get there before them. But he doesn't want, I guess the plan is he doesn't want to make it obvious he's working with us. And he doesn't want to just leave and risk Tuck going on a bit of a rampage through the town. So we're grabbing her first. He's keeping Tuck busy till the morning.
Aye, we better have something planned for later, though. I'm afraid the strong man might be getting himself into a bit more trouble than he's prepared for. Do you seriously think that man is going to be content when he finds the prince is not there? Best
I
case
doubt
scenario, best case scenario, he takes his frustration out on Throm. Worst case, well, pretty sure you can imagine it.
And hopefully we'll already have the princess. Throm will have to find his own way out, because I doubt we're pulling another 100 men out of nowhere. But hopefully when he figures out my contract will be done, because I brought you guys here, found where the princess is, and I'll be leaving.
Hey. Kinda bugs me to leave a man to die like that, but truly we can't really do much ourselves. Better him than all three of us.
Besides, he can fly. Worst comes to worst, he
That-
flies away.
That would have been useful to know earlier, wouldn't it? And Fenrir kind of fucks off to lick his own wounds. Not literally, you know the saying.
I don't know. His father is the wolf seducer. He
Oh,
might.
shut up. Dylan, hello.
Hello. So, yeah, as you begin to kind of talk it out, the lieutenant's kind of like gathering his men and moving back to the keep at this point.
Basically, I'm just follow them. I'm gonna find some of the archers that were with me, congratulate some good shots, give pointers for better shots.
Yeah, there's
Because
not.
we are archers. We are not people who just sit on a line and volley. Volley doesn't require accuracy. You just pull the string back, release the arrow. Anyone can do it. We're archers. We need targets.
So the yeah, you say this to the three that are left at this point, and you know, you guys kind of huddle and ponder the meaning of those words, philosophical meaning, and try to see if there's any other loose ends besides that. So as you guys head back to the keep, I think that's a fairly good spot to leave it without getting into anything else too in depth. And then we'll pick up with what's going on with the princess next time.
I'm back with a sandwich. What'd I miss?
Can you guys hear me still?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm just
Yeah.
making sure. Yeah, I was gonna go till 12, but I'm like fading fast here.
Oh, thank God, me too.
Losers.
I've been watching somebody Let's Play God of War 4, so I want to continue that while I still have energy.
No, it's alright. I was falling asleep about an hour ago, 2 hours ago. Sorry, it's been a busy week.
By the way, for any fans who haven't seen God of War 4 yet, it's so hype.
It's alright.
Anyway,
It's okay. It's alright. No, it's actually pretty great.
All right.
So is that it? We're done?
Yep. Just before we log off here, let me shut off the stream.